And we get the details from KIRO Newsradio's Frank Lindsay.
The House version is worth $910 million. The Senate's $723 million. Both proposals have bipartisan support. Republican Mike Steele is one of the writers on the House side.
I think there's still validity to listening to someone on the opposite side of an issue, even if you don't agree with them, and try to figure out how you find a solution, because ultimately that's why people send us here.
The capital budgets include money for things like school construction, seismic upgrades, affordable housing, and clean energy projects. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Public hearings are scheduled for both versions today. They'll need to be reconciled before the end of the session. Progressive advocates claim thousands of bots are opposed to Washington's Millionaires tax. The group, Invest in Washington Now, accuses unknown actors of widespread fraud, saying they're using the public comment system to inflate opposition to the bill. Brian Haywood with the conservative group Let's Go Washington tells Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM.
I think it's just them trying to deflect from the real issue, right? That this is deeply, deeply unpopular. And so the narrative has to be that it's all bots.
Invest in Washington Now is asking the state attorney general to investigate what it calls illegal tampering. Well, travel troubles are piling up with the unrest in Mexico and weather issues on the East Coast. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha spent some time at SeaTac Airport, where a partial government shutdown is also affecting travel.
Confusion this morning at TSA. Before this weekend, Homeland Security said it would suspend TSA PreCheck and global entry, then appeared to walk it back. Now, TSA Pre is on, global entry is off.
It was very confusing, and it sounds like I should be able to go through with PreCheck, but I'm not totally sure.
It's not just Seattle. At airports across America Sunday, confusion over TSA Pre working or not was the norm.
In a statement, Homeland Security said it was making the changes due to a lapse in federal funding. The city of Lynwood is pulling the plug on its contract with an automated license plate reader company. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has the update.
The city council voted 7-0 Monday to cancel its agreement with Flock Safety. The Everett Herald reports Lynwood is one of the first cities in the state to do so. The move comes after community members raised privacy concerns late last year. A University of Washington report found out-of-state agencies accessed Lynwood's license plate network, apparently for immigration enforcement. The Herald found the same kind of searches happening in other networks across Snohomish County. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
The parents of a Gig Harbor teenager are suing Discord after their son took his own life on a live stream. The News Tribune reports Colby and Leslie Taylor filed the suit in Pierce County Superior Court. Their 13-year-old son, Jay, died in January of 2022. The family says an extremist group on Discord called the 764 Network coerced Jay into hanging himself while streaming. According to the lawsuit, the video was then shared across Discord as a recruiting tool for the group. The 764 Network glorifies violence and uses blackmail to push victims toward self-harm, sexual abuse, and suicide. Discord says disrupting the network has been a top priority, and the company has worked with law enforcement on this since 2021. In Seattle's Madison Park neighborhood, a group is trying to save a 100-year-old redwood tree from the chopping block.
The redwood tree in question is part of what's known as a pocket forest, planted about 100 years ago on a lot near the corner of McGillivray Boulevard East and 39th Street East. Neighbors say the homeowner wants to build a retaining wall and the tree stands in the way. Neighbor Julie Tokashiki-Scarrett says,
"You can have both. You can have development and you can keep the trees. So that's ideally what we would love to see."
Tokashiki-Scarrett also says 2 bald eagles were seen in the tree as recently as this weekend. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The homeowner told KOMO 4 he actually changed his building plan to spare all but one tree on his property. It's 5:13. Let's get an early check on traffic. For that, we say good morning to Chris Sullivan.
Morning, Amanda. We're much better than yesterday, where I was stuck in traffic at this time.
For quite a
while, for 35 minutes. Yeah, nothing like that on the roads this morning. All green on the map so far. You won't hit the brakes from Olympia to Seattle at this point on northbound I-5 or southbound, really. Federal Way to Seattle is only 35 minutes. 35 as well from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue, no problems for you guys. Under 15 minutes there. Out of the north end, quiet as well. 35 minutes from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. The lake bridges are good as well, so much better start today. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Off we go. We're going to see showers in the south end for today, otherwise a partly cloudy day, warming up to 46. A few showers again tomorrow. Same deal on Thursday with those highs up around 50. Friday, again, sticking with the showers at a high of 50. Saturday, it looks like we'll dry out for a day. Right now in Seattle, we have cloudy skies. It's 40 degrees. And coming up, CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger will break down the impact of tariff turmoil on the U.S. economy. That's just ahead here on Seattle's Morning News.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
KIRO News Radio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals. Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO News Radio YouTube channel. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-378-7241. 800-378-7241. Again, that's 800-378-7241.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really three keys to a great game plan with us. Number one is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number one. Do you have the right coverage? Number two, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the three keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO News Radio.
We speak with CBS money analyst Jill Schlesinger. Her blog is jillonmoney.com. Jill, we had the news come out late last week about tariffs getting basically blocked by the Supreme Court. Can you just bring us up to speed what this means and what things look like in the days and weeks ahead?
Here's what I don't think it means. I don't think we're all getting refunds for any goods that we purchased that had tariffs on them. So that's the bad news for consumers. If you are a company that paid those tariffs, there's now going to be probably a legal battle about how you recoup some of that money. And so we'll keep an eye out for that. But I think the net effect is not going to be particularly grand in that we have one set of tariffs that were overturned by the Supreme Court, and then over the weekend, the president announcing another set of tariffs that under a different law that will replace those tariffs. So overall, tariff levels are somewhere around 10 or 15%, way higher than they've been in decades, but not so high that it's creating runaway inflation. We are seeing inflation kind of stay higher than the Federal Reserve would like, but nothing close to what we saw as we came out of the reopening after the pandemic. So that's kind of where we are with tariffs. It's like they're here. We have about a quarter of the tariffs that were in place that were overturned, and now we've got new tariffs that have been announced.
Also last week, we had the news on job numbers, and it was really confusing to me. And in fact, you write, is it in a funk or is it funky on your blog? Can you explain?
Well, I mean, it's a very strange thing to have job creation not be as robust as the overall economy would indicate. So if you have the economy growing by a couple of percentage points, which it did last year, right? So it was up, let's say the economy got bigger by about, 2.5% bigger last year. But job creation was kind of stinky. And, we didn't net lose a ton of jobs, but like as if it were 2020 or the financial crisis, but we just didn't have a lot of jobs that were created. And that's when the economists and market watchers started calling it the low hire, low fire job market. Not a lot of hiring, not widespread announced layoffs, nothing that was like horrible. And, what is interesting to understand is why is that? What is it about what's happening in the economy today that is making companies sit on their hands when it comes to hiring? And some of it, like especially with last year, is about what is the impact of tariffs, right? How's it all going to end? Where are we going to land? What is it, what is the tariff rate going to be? How will consumers react to that? On top of that, we have the looming threat of AI. So for a lot of companies, it's not as if AI is replacing, thousands of their employees. It's this revolutionary technology is going to change the way that we work, but we're not exactly sure how. So if there were 10 people, if you need 10 people to get something done in your company, you probably have this idea that you won't need all 10 in the next, say, 3 to 5 years, right? But but you don't know who, you don't know what. So maybe when one of those 10 people retires or leaves to go get another job, what you do as the companies, you say, I'm not going to hire anybody to replace that. I'm going to just let the 9 people who remain do the job, and we'll see where we land. And that's kind of where we are.
I'm imagining myself, Jill, I'm driving into work right now. We're in Seattle. It's dark, it's rainy, and I'm kind of meh about my job.
Yeah.
What's the smart move for me?
Don't quit. Because I cannot emphasize enough that this is a strange jobs market. So unless you have another job, I would definitely stay with what you have. The old story of, when the oldsters like me say it's a lot easier to get a job when you have a job. It's true. So don't leave. But let's say you're 55 or 60 years old and you're kind of meh. These are the kind of people I get calls from all the time on my radio show and on my podcast. And they'll say, can I afford to just be done? Run your numbers. Maybe you can. Maybe you can find an off-ramp. Maybe this is the time of your life where you're like, I have a job that is killing me. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And what would happen if I could get a part-time gig and make, maybe half of what I'm making now, but I can do it for another 10 years. Those are the kinds of questions I think are reasonable to ask. But if you're early mid-career and you have a job, I would not leave that job unless I had another job.
All right, Jill, you are joining us from the Northeast. I'm assuming your hatches are battened. Talk to us about the bomb cyclone and the blizzard headed your way.
Blizzard, man. It is windy. It's really coming down still. And what I can tell you is that, we're not Pacific Northwesterners. We are not hardy. We are not hardy people. Like you. We are whining because you cannot order delivery because who's going out on the streets to deliver your food? So it's pretty bad out here. And mass transit is running, but it's not like, going great guns. And I saw yesterday, while it was sort of still raining and snowing at the same time, I saw the big New York City buses running with those massive chains on them. So I always find that interesting. And hey, the subway's still running. So there you go. Well, you can get to work maybe if you're here in the city, but anyone in the suburbs, they're working from home today.
Okay, Jill. Well, we'll send somebody out with a shovel. They should be there in about 3 weeks.
Super. Thanks so much.
Jill Schlesinger, JillOnMoney.com. Thanks, Jill.
Take care.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
You know, retirement is supposed to be a time of rest and relaxation. But every week I get calls from seniors who are stressed out because their cost of living keeps going up. They love their home and they want to stay in it, but they're struggling with rising property taxes, monthly bills, and monthly mortgage payments if they have one. Hi, I'm Steve Tytler, owner of Best Mortgage, a local family-owned company. I specialize in the reverse mortgage, which allows seniors to tap into your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. A reverse mortgage is a great option for some people, but it's not right for everyone. So give me a call and you'll talk directly to me in person or over the phone for honest advice you can trust. Search for Best Mortgage on the web or call us at 425-649-6000. You'll talk to me, not an AI robot. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus an extra $100 off all mattresses. And Saturday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
High five! Up top! Dave's company just got the 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Yeah! It's 5 years of gig speed internet, advanced security, and a great rate that won't change. All from the company with 99.9% network reliability. Heck yeah! He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread. Yes! The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee. Powering 5 years of savings powering possibilities.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping.
For a limited time, now through March 29th, switch to Comcast Business to lock in your rate for 5 years and get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Or ask how to get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $59.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Don't wait. Call today. Restrictions apply. New customers only. 1-year contract required for guaranteed rate. Paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account required. 5-year pricing applies to monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas, and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building, with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. It is 5:31. Well, that massive winter storm is still causing chaos and creating flight delays across the country. More than 3 feet of snow fell in some cities, with winds gusting more than 80 miles an hour in Massachusetts. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano is in Brooklyn, New York.
Heavy snow and blizzard winds brought whiteout conditions as a bomb cyclone blasted millions Monday from D.C. to Maine. Along the Massachusetts coast, massive waves crashed against the shore, flooding nearby towns as snow came down all day long. More than 37 inches in Providence, Rhode Island, set an all-time record for a snowstorm.
Nearly 400,000 homes are without power in the area. Well, the drug cartel violence in Mexico that has forced Americans in Puerto Vallarta to shelter in place as some spring breakers reconsidering their plans to head south. We get more from CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz.
Violence has surged in at least 20 of Mexico's 31 states since the army killed the country's most powerful drug lord on Sunday. Security experts say it could affect the FIFA World Cup this summer. Some games are scheduled for the city of Guadalajara, the second biggest city in Mexico and the home base of the country's biggest drug cartel. So far, the violence hasn't spread to such tourist hotspots as Mexico City, Cancun, or Cabo San Lucas, but the unpredictable and heavily armed cartels are capable of staging attacks anywhere in the country. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
The State House and Senate have each unveiled their supplemental capital budgets. Republican State Representative Mike Steele says it's a bipartisan effort.
Something that we take great pride in and takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but is obviously something we can accomplish.
Both versions will have public hearings today. They'll have to be reconciled before the end of the session next month. It's 5:33. That's time for a check on traffic, and for that we turn to Chris Sullivan.
The supplemental transportation budgets also dropped yesterday, and
I had a feeling you'd mention that.
And I will have those coming up in my choke points reports later today. Little trouble brewing between both houses. Looking at the roads right now, we have a pretty good drive across the board. All green on the map and about 35 minutes to get between most of your destinations. That's what we have from Federal Way to Seattle, Puyallup to Renton, and Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. We've got about 15 minutes until we start seeing the backups in the Northgate area. Renton to Bellevue is not bad, 15 minutes. Lake Bridges are quiet, 18, 16 looking good. Olympia to Tacoma is only 32 minutes. So we're off to a good start. start, but we're not too far away from the start of congestion. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Might see some showers mainly in the south end for today, warming up to 46. Overnight lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, few showers, a few sun breaks, and highs around 50. Looks like we'll stay dry on Saturday, just partly cloudy, and 48. It's 40. Me in Seattle right now.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio Northwest News. Seattle's morning news. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
We speak with Casey McNerthy from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office for a crime and punishment segment. And Casey, a couple weeks ago, we had one of the big cheeses in your office stop by, Gary Ernsdorf. And at the time, he was talking to us about a wire theft bill that the attorney's office was really advocating for in front of the state legislature. Where do things stand with that?
Well, there's a little bit of bad news. It died last week. And this was the bill, Senate Bill 6190, which would have created a database that could be searched remotely by law enforcement. The same way that when you sell something to a pawn shop, they have that database where the item is held for a little while. And then if there's a report of stolen goods, the cops can search it and see if there's something that matches. Right now, they have to go to each of the individual metal buyers to see if the report of a copper wire theft matches what they have in the inventory or what they have purchased recently. And so it's not a very efficient system. And the idea is to crack down on that. But, you know, with the short session, it didn't get out of the House of Origin. And so it's basically a little bit like the Mariners, wait till next year. But hopefully, like the Mariners, you know, we get some good luck coming up. I asked Gary, I said, you know, what does this mean? Why do you think it didn't advance? And what happens next? And here's what he had to say.
Now, what we've seen is it often takes multiple efforts to get a bill successfully through both houses and enacted into law. And it just, you know, I'm no lawmaker, but it seems like, especially with these short legislative sessions like we have this year, sometimes it just doesn't have time to sink into all the necessary players. So unfortunately, you know, the word for our community and our communications industry is, sorry, you got to wait for another year. And we'll be back with the same bill, maybe some small tweaks to it, but largely the same bill next year. It's a longer legislative session, and I think it'll have a better chance of passing.
Well, that was nice of Gary to say. My question for metal recyclers, because I know they are listening now, is this okay with you? Is this okay that Sound Transit, at least 3 times in the past month, has had the copper wire stolen so badly they've had to shut down service for tens of thousands of people? Are you okay with having power substations go offline, neighborhoods plunge into darkness because people feel as if they have an ability that they will go in unfettered and unprosecuted and able to get away with crimes when they're going up to recyclers? You can clearly see these are cut up power lines. There's no mistake what these are. And the recyclers say, well, we got to get the spot prices. We got to get the best possible deal we can almost instantaneously. We got to melt this down and sell it on the market. I get that. But you know what? Pawn shops don't have to do that. Places where you bring in metals that will eventually get melted down say, hey, wait a second. Also, the recyclers, as Gary told us, sorry, I'm off on a tangent this morning, Casey.
No, keep going.
The recyclers don't even want to take pictures of what has been brought into them by these people. Where do they think these people are getting all these wires? Is it just somehow magically, hey, I'm working on a home remodel project? Of course not. My question is, why aren't lawmakers, why aren't prosecutors, why aren't you as recyclers saying, hey, cut the crap, let's stop inconveniencing society and instead really address this issue? And clearly the lawmakers didn't have an appetite for it this year, and who knows when eventually we will.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think prosecutors are saying that. And the only optimistic thing, and it's not all metal buyers. There's some who, I think the good ones are frustrated by the bad ones, certainly the ones who who are looking the other way.
I'm not going after you.
No,
obviously, if you're listening to Seattle's Morning News, you're one of the good ones. But there are bad ones out there. We can police that, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And, the optimistic thing is this. So with catalytic converters, remember what a major problem that was 3 or 4 years ago? And, everybody knew somebody who had a catalytic converter ripped off, especially on Priuses. But that was Gary's last big bill that he worked on with Representative Ryu. And that problem, once that bill went through, the demand dried up. And when's the last time you heard of somebody getting their catalytic converter ripped off? The problem really has gone away. And that's because of the bill getting through.
Casey McNerthney from the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Crime and Punishment. Thank you, Casey.
It's great to see you, Charlie.
Stay with us. National headlines on the way here on KIRO Newsradio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Yep, it's raining out there. Integrity Roofing and Construction is your trusted local roofing team. Integrity offers free estimates, and their customer satisfaction speaks for itself. They'll keep your home leak-free and protected from the northwest rains. Visit integrityrc.com to schedule a roof assessment or video inspection today. With years of experience in roofing and restoration, their skilled team can help with a simple roof repair or a full renovation. Don't wait until the next storm hits. Schedule your free estimate today. Visit integrityrc.com. That's integrityrc.com.
Retirement is supposed to be a time of rest and relaxation. But every week I get calls from seniors who are stressed out because their cost of living keeps going up. They love their home and they want to stay in it, but they're struggling with rising property taxes, monthly bills, and monthly mortgage payments if they have one. Hi, I'm Steve Tytler, owner of Best Mortgage, a local family-owned company. I specialize in the reverse mortgage, which allows seniors to tap into your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. A reverse mortgage is a great option for some people, but it's not right for everyone. So give me a call and you'll talk directly to me in person or over the phone for honest advice you can trust. Search for Best Mortgage on the web or call us at 425-649-6000. You'll talk to me, not an AI robot. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
CBS News Brief. Providence, Rhode Island wound up bearing the brunt of yesterday's historic blizzard. WPRI TV meteorologist Tony Petrarca.
Historic, a storm on the order of 2 to 3 feet of snow. Unlike the last storm back in January, take a cubic foot of wet snow like we've had with this most recent storm. It weighs 20 pounds.
More than 2,000 flights canceled in the U.S. today, many at Boston's Logan and New York's JFK airports. President Trump delivers his State of the Union address tonight. CBS's Robert Costa.
What I'm really watching is foreign policy. All of my sources around President Trump say some kind of action is potentially in the offing.
A long-awaited House vote's expected today on the first major bill responding to last year's deadly air crash near Washington. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
The military has come out and said that the Rotor Act would create significant unresolved budgetary burdens and operational security risks affecting national defense.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Our forecast, you might see some showers in the south end for today, headed for a high of 46. Overnight lows mid-30s. Tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, just scattered showers with with some sun breaks and highs around 50. Looks like we'll dry out on Saturday and just see partly cloudy skies and 48. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 40. And coming up, New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold will break down the big stories of the week. That's next on Seattle's Morning News.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Nick, did you know this is called quit time? Did you know what that is?
I do not know.
That means right about this time of the year, people quit their New Year's resolutions.
Oh, kind of like last year.
Okay, never mind. The important thing is that both of us made a New Year's resolution that we would take better care of ourselves for each other. And we're holding to that.
We are not flaming out because...
Longevity Medical Clinic. So we get the support of Longevity. We told them what our goals were, and they're like, absolutely, we'll get you in line. So they support me, they support you, and then as a couple, they're making us accountable for the decisions we make. So we're not going to be quitting on these things. I can't remember what your New Year's resolution was around the house.
My New Year's resolution around the house was that I was going to try to get you to start putting things away.
And I was going to get you to actually learn how to cook a piece of chicken.
Oh, well, that's for next year.
Okay, fine. Either way, we've got a team behind us. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Good morning. It is 5:46 on your Tuesday, the 24th of February, with Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
And every Tuesday, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to talk about the big stories of the week. Good morning, David.
Morning.
Nice to have you with us, as always. So the president is going to give his State of the Union address today. He says it will be long. What are you expecting from the speech?
Well, I mean, a couple topics seem pretty obvious. It seems clear he's going to talk about Iran, where the U.S. is threatening them with some kind of attack, maybe a regime change. It seems clear they'll talk about tariffs. He's been really unhappy since the Supreme Court invalidated his tariff strategy and his tariff powers that he'd been using last week. Beyond that, the big question for me is whether he talks about things that are actually on voters' minds, like affordability, and lays out a plan to make, to deal with the economic worries people have, or if this is more of a typical Trump speech that'll meander around, have some bragging, some attacks on people he doesn't like. His State of the Unions in his first term were a little more structured and followed the rules a little more than his typical speeches, but, I don't know if we'll see that again in his second term.
How do you expect him to handle the challenges facing his party in the upcoming congressional elections? Seems like this would be an opportunity for him to address that tonight.
It would. So far, his strategies have been three, I would say. One is to just do what Joe Biden did and insist that if people are feeling bad about the economy, they shouldn't. If things are fine with the economy, they're great. And if people are feeling bad about them, they're just wrong. That didn't work for Biden. It may not work for Trump either. The other things have been to try to screw with the midterms themselves, both through redistricting, pushing states to redistrict so Republicans can get more seats, and also just by raising questions about the way midterms are conducted, raising very false concerns about illegal immigrants voting or cheating in the elections, maybe with an eye to trying to disrupt the elections the way he tried to in 2020. We don't really know how far he'll go there, but of the three strategies I laid out, the one he's put the most effort into, I think, is actually the one about undermining trust in the midterms more generally.
David, since you mentioned Iran, it appears the U.S. is building a heavy military presence in the Middle East. Would you expect any sort of official announcement tonight?
My guess is it'll be more along the lines of, Iran better shape up, they better give up their nuclear program or else, more sort of threats rather than here's what we're going to do. It wouldn't make a lot of strategic sense to say, hey, we're going to bomb Iran in 3 days, look out. The question for me, though, is how does he justify this? If we go to war with Iran, it's completely a war of choice. There's no threat to America. The things that he's talking about as the threats are the nuclear program, which is now buried under tons of rubble under a mountain. There's nothing that means any threat to us right now, or even really a direct threat to Israel. It's just because he thinks Iran is weak, and if he's going to topple them, this is the right time. How does he make the case to people, if he tries to, that it's worth taking the risk of American lives, American money, American warships, just for a war that we've chosen to do?
Now, the president's advisor, Steve Witkoff, last week said the Iranians are, a week away from having a nuclear weapon. And I'm old enough to remember, David, when the president insisted we had completely destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities just a few months ago. What is the administration saying here?
That's right. When the U.S. bombed Iran a few months ago, Trump said we've destroyed their nuclear capabilities, and they're completely eliminated. And then they fired somebody because another part of the U.S. government put out a report saying, well, you damaged them but didn't eliminate them. Now Trump's own administration is making that same argument they fired somebody for making just last year, which is that they could, they're 2 weeks away, they're a week away, they're a month away from producing a nuclear bomb. The reality is, They do have nuclear fuel. They probably could refine that into a bomb. The problem is that because of the bombing we did a few months ago, that nuclear fuel is way down under a mountain. So to say it's a week away is really unrealistic. They are months away if they chose to start excavating that stuff out of the mountain. But it's not like there's anything imminent, especially anything imminent for us.
Let's talk about the chaos in Mexico, David. Do we know what role the U.S. had in this operation to take out El Mencho?
What we have reported is that the U.S. played a role in gathering the intelligence and tracking this drug lord. Mexico has said that they basically used human intelligence. They had a man who was close to a woman who was seeing El Mencho, and through that man, they figured out where she was going to be and thus where El Mencho was going to be, and attacked him after this woman visited. But the U.S. has said that they provided intelligence and helped the Mexicans determine where to go and when. I don't think anybody's claimed that there were actually American troops on the ground or American people pulling triggers when this guy was killed.
This has been a lot of pressure applied by the Trump administration on Mexico. How does this move forward in terms of our pressure resulting in Mexican government taking out drug lords?
Well, it certainly seems like U.S. pressure played a role in getting the Mexican government to target this guy. The question, though, is, and I think in a political sense, it will reduce the pressure the U.S. government is putting on Mexico, including the threat that we would send in American troops or American drones to attack the cartels directly. The question for me is just, what does this do in terms of long-term stability in Mexico, in terms of the drugs coming into the United States? This cartel that El Mencho ran is still large, powerful, has lots of people, lots of money. It may splinter. There may be sort of a civil war. But in the past, a little bit like terrorist organizations, when you take out the leader, it's rare that the whole organization just collapses and those people go back to having regular jobs. I still am not convinced this is going to make a big difference in the cartel threat down the road.
David, this is affecting travel across the country, and so is the weather. Seeing the pictures of the heavy blizzard conditions on the East Coast, what are you seeing there in D.C.?
D.C., we got we had the easiest time. I know New York and Boston have been completely buried. We got 3 inches of snow yesterday, but it warmed up, and I'm now looking at some piles of snow, but the roads are clear, the sidewalks are clear. It's nothing like what they're experiencing in New York and Boston and even places further north.
All right, Manda, can I ask David the question that's been on my mind?
Of course.
It's okay with you?
Of course. What's the question?
David, is the president going to announce that aliens are real tonight in the State of the Union?
No. Definitely not. You saw Obama said the other day that, maybe jokingly, that aliens were real. If aliens were real, Trump would have told us long before. Even if they're not, if they are real, nobody's told him, because he definitely would have told us.
All right. Satisfied,
I think the truth is out there.
Thank you.
It is.
All right, David. Always a pleasure. Thank you. New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold. It's 5:53. Thanks for spending some time with Seattle's Morning News here on KIRO News Radio. Weather-wise, we're going to see some showers mainly in the south end for today, headed for a high of 46. A few showers tomorrow and Thursday and Friday with highs around 50 and lows right around 40. For Saturday, looks like a dry day so far, partly cloudy and 48. Right now in Seattle, it is cloudy and 40.
Manda, that's perfect weather for an alien invasion. I'm just saying.
What's the focus on the aliens this morning, Charlie?
The president was talking about aliens.
No, he's going to release the files.
Okay.
The X-Files.
Well, coming up in the next hour, more of your day's top local headlines. We have Luke Ducey on the state budget, what we learned yesterday from Olympia.
Speaking of budgets, Chris Sullivan has a choke point. A look at the transportation budget for the state. That's coming up at 6:15.
And a reminder here, our inbox always open for your news tips, story ideas, alien photos at mynorthwest.com. You can also contact the show by texting us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line to 888-973-5476.
All right, thanks for being with us. It's Seattle's Morning News here on KIRO News Radio.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
It's clogged again.
Your drain?
Just had it cleared.
You didn't call Apollo Plumbing.
How can you tell?
Because your drain's clogged again.
So frustrating.
We can clear that drain.
That's what the last guy said.
We'll clear it, guaranteed.
He said that too.
Apollo Plumbing will clear your drain, or it's free.
Wait, what?
Apollo Plumbing clears your drain.
Or it's free?
Yep.
What's the catch?
No catch.
Fine print?
Apollo Plumbing clears your main drain for $83.
$83, or it's free?
And we'll even give you a camera inspection.
Because?
It's the best way to find what's causing your clog.
But that's extra.
Nope. Included.
No extra charge?
Not 1 cent.
$83, or it's free.
All it takes is an accessible outside cleanout.
And an Apollo plumber.
No clog is safe from Apollo Plumbing.
And just like that, my main drain is...
draining again.
How can you...
Apollo plumbers are that good.
$83, or it's free.
You call, we come.
My drain's draining again.
Guaranteed.
$83, or it's free.
As it should be.
Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt, and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean, and there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Join the conversation and text your favorite show on the KIRO News Radio text line at 888-973-KIRO. That's 888-973-5476. Powered by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
I'm sure by now you've heard interviews with a whole lot of people who took the First Mark Challenge and saved so much money on their insurance and got better coverage. We call them First Mark victories. Well, I too took the First Mark Challenge and am thrilled to say that First Mark is saving my family thousands. Now that's what I call a victory. Before we got married, my husband had been with the same agent for so long, I think we just assumed that they were working hard to get us the best coverage and save us money, but it wasn't the case. And we only knew that by taking the First Mark Challenge. First Mark works for you, not the insurance carriers. First Mark will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage, which could leave you at risk for financial loss. Then they carefully search the market, dozens of major carriers to find you the best fit. And that's it. First Mark Insurance has helped thousands of families successfully manage the complicated world of insurance and save them thousands, my family included. Be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Take the First Mark Challenge now. It's free. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance. They work for you.
Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision doctors have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when it's your right time for RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consult today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest-running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. For 34 years, they've been giving honest advice you can trust as your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts and debt consolidation specialists, too. Just web search Best Mortgage.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The scrape and chuck of shovels rings out up and down the Northeast a day after a historic winter storm.
The paralyzing storm, a blizzard in some areas, dumped snow from Maryland to Maine. In some cities, the accumulation record was shattered, immobilizing transit. Thousands of flights were canceled or delayed as the storm upended daily routines in some of the nation's biggest cities, including Boston, Philadelphia, and New York, which had its first snow day in 6 years. Providence, Rhode Island got a record 37 inches of snow.
Seeing pretty much a lot of snow, a very lot of snow, and temperatures are very cold when that wind blows.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are weighing in on tonight's State of the Union address. Louisiana's Republican Congressman Steve Scalise on CBS Mornings.
It's going to be a real sharp focus on exactly what the president has been doing, working with Congress to make life more affordable for working families.
Michigan's Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin tells CBS.
If he can wave his hands and try to make you believe what he wants you to believe, the American people aren't stupid. They know that they are spending more this year than they did last year.
President Trump is expected to zero in on the economy during the first State of the Union of his second term. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill set to vote on the first major bill responding to last year's deadly crash between a passenger plane and a military helicopter near Washington, D.C. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
It's a safety recommendation the NTSB has been pushing for years. The safety board found in their investigation, had that American Airlines regional jet been equipped with this ADSB in, the pilots would have had about a minute to identify the approaching helicopter.
Today marks 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. President Zelensky spoke in Kyiv.
What can I say? We need peace, but we have to prepare to any other kind of challenges from Russian side.
Former CBS News Moscow bureau chief Beth Noble.
I don't think anyone thought this war would drag on for 4 years when it began, or that Ukraine would be able to hold out against the Russian war machine for this long.
One brand of weight loss drugs will become a little more affordable next year. Novo Nordisk, smarting from competition from Eli Lilly, says it'll cut list prices for Wegovy and Ozempic by as much as half in January of 2027. They'll go down to $675 a month. Lilly already sells its Zepbound for about $450 for a 30-day supply. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It's 6:03 Tuesday morning. Let's check in with Sully for traffic.
And we are looking at some brake lights here and there. Already seeing the slowing on southbound 5 as you work past the forced merge in Northgate. Already up to 40 minutes from Everett to Seattle. About 35 from Everett into the Bellevue area. The lake bridges are in fine shape as we start the day. Olympia to Tacoma, no problem for you guys. Little hesitation out of Federal Way, but 35 minutes to get you up to Seattle is pretty good at this point. Under 40 minutes from Puyallup up to Renton, though there are brake lights in the Auburn area. And Renton to Bellevue is running right around 16 minutes. So we're off to a pretty decent start. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
At 6:04, it's official. The State House and Senate have both released their supplemental budget proposals, and both rely heavily on the proposed income tax for millionaires and dipping into state reserves.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here to break them down, and also Republicans plan a protest today on the Capitol steps.
Yeah, they'll be protesting that proposed income tax for millionaires, which goes before a House public hearing today. Here's Republican State Representative April Connors on their strategy.
Our goal over here in the House is that bill dies in the House this year, and we'll do everything that we can to stop it.
Now, on the other side, the millionaires tax is a huge part of the supplemental budgets that were just unveiled by Democrats. The Senate version, we told you a little bit about this yesterday, calls for $2.3 billion in new spending because they say it's costing more and more to deliver the same services that they have in the past. But their proposal balances that spending by passing the millionaires tax. And Senator June Robinson says borrowing another $750 million from the state's rainy day fund.
None of these decisions are easy, and using money from the rainy day fund is not something I take lightly, but had to balance a lot of other costs.
The budget proposed by the House spends less money, but it would still pull about $800 million from state reserves. Republican senators call both budget plans irresponsible. Now, in other budget news, the House and Senate also unveiled their capital budgets, how to pay for things like schools, construction, or affordable housing, flood recovery. Republican State Rep Mike Steele says those proposals are actually 100% bipartisan.
I think there's still validity to listening to someone on the opposite side of an issue, even if you don't agree with them, and try to figure out how you find a solution, because ultimately that's why people send us here.
So, Charlie and Amanda, back to the income tax for millionaires, the millionaires tax. I mean, you're going to hear it over and over. You're going to get sick of hearing about it over and over and over. That's because for the Democrats and their plans, there is so much riding on that tax. It has passed the Senate. It has, again, a public hearing in the House this morning at 8 a.m. That Republican protest to the bill is set for 7:30 this morning. Stay tuned.
Okay, a lot of developments there. Thank you, Luke. Progressive advocates claim thousands of bots are opposed to the Washington income tax. The group Invest in Washington Now accuses unknown actors of widespread fraud, saying they're using the public comment system to inflate opposition to the bill. Now, Brian Haywood with the conservative group Let's Go Washington spoke to Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM.
I think it's just them trying to deflect from the real issue, right? That this is deeply, deeply unpopular. And so the narrative has to be that it's all bots.
Invest in Washington Now is asking the state attorney general to investigate what it calls illegal tampering.
In Olympia, the hot topic packed a hearing room and inched closer to passage. This is the bill that would create a process to remove elected sheriffs. We get the update from KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson.
There's some passionate emotions on both sides, and they packed the hearing room in this building with people coming in from all over the state to testify on this. Now, the bill does three things: raises the age to 25 to become a sheriff, require you are in law enforcement for 5 years, and mandates a background check for candidates instead of just those elected. It also creates trainings for sheriff's office volunteers and youth cadets and standards for that. Now, the third piece is the controversial piece, saying if a sheriff or police chief does not enforce state, local, or federal laws around masks and gun control were mentioned today, they can be decertified by the State Criminal Justice Training Commission and thus removed from office.
Speaking of sheriffs, in Pierce County, voters could decide this November whether to stop electing the sheriff. A proposal to appoint the position instead has cleared its first hurdle with the county's Charter Review Commission. News Tribune reports a change would give the Pierce County executive the power to appoint the sheriff, with the city council, or county council rather, confirming the pick. The proposal also sets minimum qualifications. Candidates would need 10 years in law enforcement, with at least 5 in a supervisory or command role. They'd also have to maintain their state peace officer certification. Proposal still has a long way to go before it reaches the ballot. More public meetings and 2 votes by the 21-member commission are still ahead.
Just getting word of a small earthquake that rumbled about 6 miles southeast of Snohomish this morning. It registered a 3.0 magnitude, about 542 with the sensors at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. 92 people reported they felt it.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
Well, I know one listener felt it, Carol in Lake Stevens.
Yes, thank you, Carol.
She gave us the heads up. It sounds like that's not a destructive thing.
3.0, no. But...
Yeah, but you might notice it. Kind of feels like construction happening outside the house.
Oh, where would that happen here on East Lake?
It's always top of mind. Sometimes you're not in the studio with us, but during the show, especially after 8 o'clock, they're doing all sorts of construction outside the studio. So they'll have jackhammers and everything. And so we're rumbling inside the studio.
Was that a quake?
Yeah. Was that a quake or not? Yeah.
No.
Well, you are Manda Factor. I'm Charlie
am.
Harger. Welcome to Seattle's Morning News. Chris Sullivan is here. And Sully, it's been a busy morning so far for you.
Yeah, well, you know that. And we've also got a choke point coming up that's a good one, by the way.
Oh, as always.
Is it?
Well, no, we've been a talk of capital budgets and stuff from Luke. Now, the transportation budgets also dropped yesterday, so I'll take a look at what they're trying to fund and, more importantly, how they're going to fund it, because the two houses don't agree on what they want to do.
Yeah, Amanda, you left a little early yesterday, and so I'm sitting at my desk, and I'm watching Sully watch the hearing, and there's a lot of muttering. There's just a lot of muttering. And I'm like, I don't know if this is good, this is bad, so I guess we'll find out.
Muttering is usually bad.
Can't wait.
Well, this hour of Seattle's Morning News is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control.
Also coming up, our conversation with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold. He breaks down what to expect from President Trump's State of the Union tonight.
6:10. Lynwood is pulling the plug on his contract with an automated license plate reader company. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery.
The City Council voted 7-0 Monday to cancel its agreement with Flock Safety. The Everett Herald reports Lynwood is one of the first cities in the state to do so. The move comes after community members raised privacy concerns late last year. A University of Washington report found out-of-state agencies accessed Lynwood's license plate network, apparently for immigration enforcement. The Herald found the same kind of searches happening in other networks across Snohomish County. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Tourists are still sheltering in place as they wait for flights out of Mexican resort cities like Puerto Vallarta. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin was able to get in touch with families from Washington who are there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's another fire beyond it.
The plumes of smoke came after a Mexican cartel leader was killed, triggering retaliation. Burned cars, buses, and gas stations blocked roads across the city.
It was a shutdown of traffic, commerce, and people moving.
A massive shelter-in-place order kept tourists and residents alike locked down.
We were just ready to go at a moment's notice, basically, at this point.
In Seattle's Madison Park neighborhood, a group of concerned citizens are trying to save a 100-year-old redwood tree from the chopping block. And KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports from the scene.
The redwood tree in question is part of what's known as a pocket forest, planted about 100 years ago on a lot near the corner of McGillivray Boulevard East and 39th Street East. Neighbors say the homeowner wants to build a retaining wall and the tree stands in the way. Neighbor Julie Tokashiki-Scarrett says,
"You can have both. You can have development and you can keep the trees. So that's ideally what we would love to see."
Tokashiki-Scarrett also says two bald eagles were seen in the tree as recently as this weekend. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
6:12 now, and it's time to get a check on the weather. Nick Allard, I was watching you, 4:45 this morning, and the words Nova Scotia came out of your mouth.
Ooh.
So I want you to know I'm paying attention. It sounds like they are just getting slammed by that blizzard.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, it's really intense. It's so much snow in the Boston area, but thankfully there at least a lot of New England is getting a bit of a break, but that's not going to last because they're actually going to get another round on the way for Wednesday. And so even overnight tonight, but especially Wednesday, they're going to see some snow there again. Us, though, we're mainly dry. We did have a 3.0 around like just north of Cottage Lake, Bothell-ish area earthquake about a half hour ago. So I'm curious if anybody felt that, but at 3.0 probably didn't cause damage. If it did, let me know. But we're looking at just mainly dry weather. I think you'll find a few showers today in the foothills of, say, like Thurston County, Pierce County, King County, but most of the rest of the area will be dry. It has been cloudy until you get to Snohomish County, where we have a little fog because of it. All that said, throughout the day, mostly cloudy, partly to mostly cloudy, mainly dry, just a few showers south and highs in the upper 40s. I think if any snow falls in the mountains today, it would mainly be around like White Pass and Paradise, maybe a little bit at Snoqualmie, but not a lot. Tomorrow we'll see some showers and breezy weather, and I actually think the majority of the snow for the mountains tomorrow will be around Baker. I could see close to a foot through the day into Thursday, with more of that stuff continuing. I don't see much moisture for the lowlands, though. It's just a few showers tomorrow, a few showers for Thursday, and a few showers for Friday. And right now, I absolutely have dry weather and sunshine on the way for the weekend. Take that, Nova Scotia.
Yeah. All right. We'll show them.
Let's go to Gander and we'll tell them.
40 and cloudy at 6:13.
All right, let's check the drive. Now we do that every 10 minutes for you. What do you have, Chris?
And again, a lot of people on our text line say they felt it. No, it was not your dog bumping the underside of your bed. It was we did have a 3.0 magnitude earthquake near Snohomish this morning. The roads right now, not bad. We do have a heavy stream of slowing approaching Northgate, so we're up to 45 minutes from Everett to Seattle on southbound 5. About 40 minutes from Everett to Bellevue. Not quite as bad through the Bothell area today, but we're getting there. We're setting ourselves up for a typical Tuesday. The Valley Freeway, starting to see the brake lights out of Auburn as well, plus at the north end, a little over 40 minutes to make that trip, and Renton to Bellevue is getting closer to 20 minutes. Looking at Olympia to Tacoma, freeway speed for you guys the whole way. Tacoma itself is quiet. We do hit the brakes just a little bit right around Federal Way, a little bit past the West Seattle Bridge. All in all, 40 minutes or less from Federal Way to Seattle. 18 and 16 looking really good. The lake bridges are as well. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973-5476. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. You can listen to your favorite shows, get the latest news and updates sent right to your phone. I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
The supplemental transportation budgets have dropped with fewer than 3 weeks left in the legislative session.
They're far smaller than what Governor Ferguson proposed, and nothing gets Sully riled up like a good old transportation budget.
Oh, yeah, nothing. I mean, who doesn't live on the edge? Loving this stuff. Well, most people. But it is your dollars and cents that's important. Governor Ferguson wants to add up to $3 billion to the transportation budget passed last year. Both the House and Senate are looking to add less than half of that. Those budgets dropped yesterday. The supplemental House budget would add $1.25 billion. The Senate plan would add about $1.5 billion. The focus of all three budgets, maintenance and preservation. And it's no wonder why. Let's consider the Fairfax Bridge has been closed for a year after decades of underfunding on its maintenance. The First Avenue South Bridge now down to just 2 lanes because of potential corrosion in the steel bridge deck. Senate Transportation Committee Chair Marco Lias.
We are focused both on preservation maintenance of our state highways and our state bridges. We are also focused on preservation and maintenance of our state ferries. And then we're also focused on dealing with the unprecedented damage caused by the flood event last fall, both at the state and local level.
To do that, the Senate transportation budget would be funded by issuing new bonds, a new bonding authority. They'd be using the gas tax revenue as collateral.
How do we pay for it? No new taxes this year, but we are leveraging the increases we passed last year with a bond proposal, $1.1 billion to unlock the preservation investments we would like to make across the next 6 years.
Some of the things that are added into this budget, which are kind of interesting, fully funding the Washington State Patrol, something that ranking member Senator Curtis King happy about.
I've been here 18 years, and the State Patrol has never been anywhere close to the level they need to be at, and we can see the results of that on our highway and the safety of our highways. And so I think this is something that we really have to put an emphasis on and make sure that we achieve that goal.
The budget also throws a lifeline to the communities around that closed Fairfax Bridge.
We do fund over 3 biennia the Fairfax Bridge, as long as with providing them some money for their routes, alternate routes, and for their emergency support.
The budget also fully funds the first 3 electric hybrid ferries and a plan to create a new mobile driver's license program.
So that in 2028, Washingtonians on their iPhone or on their other smartphone, Samsung, Google, could opt into a secure, encrypted mobile driver's license that they could use at the airport or other destinations that they're headed to.
Now, while the House and Senate have similar budget proposals, they have different ways to pay for it. The House does not pay for its increases by bonding against the gas tax. It uses existing bonding authority. House Transportation Committee Chair Jake Fye does not like the idea of tying bonds to the gas tax. That's something he told me at the start of the session.
They'll have a high bar to convince me is we did fuel taxes. If we bond against them, then we reduced what we have available in future years.
The governor's supplemental transportation budget also relies on that new bonding authority against the gas tax. So the disagreement on how to fund these budgets is now where the debate sounds like it's going to be. It sounds like they have the similar ideas, just different ways of how to pay for it. How they're going to reconcile that, it sounds the House is against new bonding authority. The Senate and the governor like new bonding authority.
Okay, I am a simple man from Auburn. I graduated high school, let's be real, but I also went to community college for a little while. So these ways of the state legislature, they confuse me. Help me understand.
I understand. Well, I'll try my best. I'm no expert either.
What does bonding mean?
Basically, they go out and they, like, if we were to go out and take a loan for our house and you put up your ability to have your job and your ability to pay that back is backed by, you having a job or you having good credit or the ability to pay that back. So when they go out and they sell bonds in the bond market, and the people who buy those bonds are relying on the state to pay that back. And in this case, they're tying that funding mechanism to gas tax revenue as opposed to general fund money tax collection that just comes in. So this would be tying these new bonds to saying, well, our collateral is the gas tax revenue. And what Jake is saying, Representative Fye, is we all know the gas tax is getting less and less, we're getting less and less from it. So he sees in the future, if we do this, our return and the ability to pay back maybe not as great as that, but it ties our ability to pay the money back to the gas tax, not general fund tax revenues, which we all know seem to be going up and up. So that's kind of what it means, is our ability to pay back the loans so that we sell those bonds, we get the money to do these things, and then the guarantee to the people who buy those bonds is our gas tax revenue.
Look at that, conduit and teacher.
Indeed.
I do have a business minor, by the way, just FYI.
Help me understand this, too.
Oh, no.
We have talked about this ever since I've been doing Seattle's Morning News. You've hammered, we are not paying for basic maintenance. Is this the bill that pays for basic maintenance when we get all up to speed and we don't have crumbling infrastructure?
No.
Oh.
What it does is at least puts that as a priority because it's going to be hard to make up for 30 years of not doing what they should have done. Example, your house, a humble man from Auburn, my house in Snohomish County, you've probably done maintenance. I don't do a lot of maintenance, and that's the reason my fence looks like that and why I need to paint the house and maybe do some arboring work. I haven't done my maintenance. It's going to be hard to make up for that, right? Because I'm going to have to pay for a fence and a roof and all those things like right now, or they fail. It's going to be hard to make up that money. Right now, it's about $1 billion they want in this the supplemental budget to go toward that to kind of fill the hole. It's going to be a long time to be able to fill that back up. And let's face it, this is on top of a $16 billion transportation package they passed last year. And they're already looking to add more. But at least their focus now, instead of, other priorities and other things, they're now looking at, oh my gosh, all these things are failing. Perhaps we should give some money to that. So hopefully it gets their attention in the right place.
I appreciate you and the fact that you are the one who sorts this stuff out.
Yeah, well, it's important to understand how we got here.
Yeah.
And it's going to take, it's going to take the money to get us out. But the thing is the money can be there. It's been a priority issue and a prioritization issue in the legislature for the last 3 decades.
David, I'm a little hurt to be honest with you, because I used a big word, infrastructure, and both Manda and Sully, neither one of them praised me for that.
That's not a big word, Charlie.
Well, you are just a
I was
simple
waiting
man
to the
from
commercial
Auburn.
break.
Yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt your flow by complimenting you.
I think we've just established you're simple and humble.
Matt I also admitted that I have done no maintenance on the house, which I'm sure Holly is really happy that I just announced to the world.
Good job, Sully.
Private school doesn't pay for itself.
Isn't that the truth?
It's 6:23, and we need to get a check on traffic. Sully?
And we are definitely seeing a lot more action pulling away from Lynwood on southbound 405. Definitely brake lights down through Canyon Park and then continuing down through Bothell. About 50 minutes now from Everett down into Bellevue. About 50 as well from Everett into Seattle with the brake lights there beginning right around 145th before thinning out. We also have some braking down across the Ship Canal Bridge, of course. Looking at northbound I-5, we have about a 42-minute trip for you guys. Really not all that bad. Just a little yellow on the map here and there. That's just a reduction of speed, but not by much. Valley Freeway under 45 minutes, and we're under 20 from Renton to Bellevue. We're definitely starting to see the brake lights now at the south end of the First Avenue South Bridge on northbound 509. Remember, the two left lanes are open, even though it says HOV. It's HOV open to everybody as we try to sort out what they're dealing with the bad steel potentially there at the north end of the bridge. So expect to lose a couple of minutes there. Again, if that's your normal route and you don't want to lose some time, I-5 is definitely the place to be. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Our forecast, most of the showers will stay to the south end today, 46 our high. Overnight lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, expect some showers at times, highs around 50. The weekend, though, looks dry. We'll see some sunshine both Saturday and Sunday, upper 40s. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 40. Coming up, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest on the violence in Mexico, how U.S. citizens are being caught in the crossfire. Also, your opening bell report. This is Seattle's Morning News.
Now, word for Boss Retirement Solutions. Well, if you're listening right now, it was dark when your alarm went off. You rolled out of bed, you grabbed a coffee, you hit the road, and guess what? You're doing it again tomorrow. You have worked too hard to let retirement get hit with a surprise bill. Here's the bummer. When you retire, 30 to 40% of what you have saved could go to taxes. Not to you, not your family, to the government. But it doesn't have to be that way. If you have saved more than $300,000, there may be tax strategies available to you, the kind people with serious money have used for years. Boss Retirement Solutions in Seattle is offering a free tax savings analysis for your retirement. No pressure, no obligation, just a clear look at how much of your money you may be able to keep. Call Boss Retirement Solutions at 206-210-1350, 206-210-1350. One more time. 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Oh!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Remember that time we were driving through France and for some reason we didn't have GPS?
Oh, for some reason? That reason would be that you didn't plug your phone in because you didn't have a charger.
Yeah, because I let you borrow my phone so you could call your mother, and you're on the phone for like 30 minutes telling her where we are. But that aside, we didn't know where we were going. We did fight a little bit because we didn't know where we were going. I think that Longevity Medical Clinic is like the GPS for us. They tell us which turns to make. They tell us which directions to go, right?
They do. And now I feel like the two of us together have a clear path and we have more control over our own health care.
Right, exactly. So you don't have to get out of the car and try to find information somewhere. It's all right there. As you're aging, all the little sort of turns you have to make in order to be able to have lots of energy and to enjoy your life. So for as far as I'm concerned, Longevity Medical Clinic is our GPS. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Do you need glasses or contacts and you're now at the age where you also need readers? K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to eliminate the need for all those. Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. Andy, for those nearing age 50 or so, refractive lens exchange can be a great alternative to LASIK.
That's right, Joe. K2 Vision RLE is a terrific, permanent solution for a lifetime of great vision. The older we get, we experience the dysfunction of our natural lens, which affects both distance vision and requires the use of reading glasses. Plus, after K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
And like LASIK, K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless. The question is, which procedure is right for you?
With the experience of over 150,000 procedures, the doctors at K2 Vision will know which procedure is best for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It is 6:30. Flights between Puerto Vallarta and SeaTac Airport are scheduled to resume today as violence in Mexico seems to be subsiding.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest and reaction from a local woman and her family who remains stuck at their resort.
Yeah, Charlie, Shandy Boyle and her family are in Puerto Vallarta. She described the violence there just a couple of days ago.
We were talking about going into town for the day, and the kids were taking their time, and so we went to the pool. And people started talking about flights getting canceled. And then all of a sudden we heard some explosions and word started spreading around the pool that we were shelter in place, basically, and the airport was shut down.
I mean, we all have kids. It sounds like the kids were taking their sweet time, and that's what actually saved them from the violence. You know, around 80 people have been killed, including National Guard troops and suspected gang members, after Sunday's military raid that killed Mexico's most powerful cartel leader known as El Mencho. Cartel loyalists have been setting cars and trucks on fire and businesses on fire as well. Boyle told the John Curley Show.
From our hotel, we can see, and we woke up to smoke smell, but we didn't know what it was, obviously, at first. But there were several fires that you could see in Puerto Vallarta.
And like many tourists there, she remains on lockdown at her resort.
So nobody was allowed in or out. They're putting all the employees up and feeding them as well, because they couldn't go home last night. We're nervous. I would leave today if I knew we could get out.
Yeah, and she is scheduled to leave on Wednesday, so it looks like those flights are resuming back and forth between the Pacific Northwest and down there in the state of Jalisco. Charlie and Manda, we now know Mexican authorities got a tip from a confidant of one of El Mencho's romantic partners, apparently, that he would be at his compound on Sunday. The U.S. then provided intelligence to the Mexican government to help pinpoint that exact location in a town that is about 250 miles east of Puerto Vallarta.
All right. Thank you for that update, Luke. It's 6:32 now. State House and Senate have both released their supplemental capital budget proposals.
The House version is worth $910 million. The Senate's $723 million. Both proposals have bipartisan support. Republican Mike Steele is one of the writers on the House side.
I think there's still validity to listening to someone on the opposite side of an issue, even if you don't agree with them, and try to figure out how you find a solution, because ultimately that's why people send us here.
The capital budgets include money for things like school construction, seismic upgrades, affordable housing, and clean energy projects. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
The plan from the Democrats includes dipping into the state's rainy day fund. Democrat Senator June Robinson says her draft balances $2.5 billion in additional spending, with $750 million from the fund and more from the proposed Millionaires tax.
None of these decisions are easy, and using money from the rainy day fund is not something I take lightly, but had to balance a lot of other costs.
Robinson says the state is up against limited state revenue resources and unreliable federal funding. State Republicans call the proposed budget irresponsible.
Small earthquake rumbled about 6 miles southeast of Snohomish this morning, a registered 3.0 magnitude about 5:42 a.m., with the sensors at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network picking them up. At least 92 people reported they felt it, and judging by the text line, it's probably a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah. It's 6:34. Let's check traffic. We do that every 10 minutes for you. And here's Chris Sullivan.
And we are definitely off to the races coming down out of the Snohomish County area earlier and earlier and earlier.
It's a reminder that, yes, it doesn't get there very often, and only when it really has to.
Yesterday we were early at 6:45. Now it's 6:30. And we've hit the $15 mark on southbound 405 coming down out of Lynwood, because it's already up to an hour from Everett to Bellevue, 40 minutes out of Lynwood. We normally didn't hit that mark till about 7:45, back before the new lane configurations. Everett to Seattle also running at about an hour. We do have a new crash to tell you about, northbound 405 at Southeast 8th. I want to thank my KIRO listeners who are letting me know about that before the DOT. It looks like it's not sure which lane yet. I'll have more for you on that, but definitely seeing a little bit of a backup. You're going to need about 25 to 30 minutes now to get up into Bellevue out of Renton. Federal Way to Seattle, still about 35 minutes. Olympia to Tacoma's 35. The lake bridges are in good shape. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Well, if you're in the south end, you might see a few showers today. Otherwise, just a mostly cloudy day, 46 of the high. Overnight low of 37. Tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, look for scattered showers. Nothing major. Mostly cloudy, highs around 50. And then Saturday and Sunday look great. We'll see some sunshine, 48 on Saturday. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 40.
6:35 now, time for the opening bell report. Stock market took a big slide Monday as tariff uncertainty hit businesses.
President Trump threatened even heavier tariffs than his new 15% global tariff, and investors reacted with a sharp sell-off. Financial and tech stocks in particular felt the sting, with IBM, American Express, and JP Morgan seeing heavy selling. Gold rallied back above $5,200 an ounce as a popular safe haven option for investors. The Dow plunged 822 points to 48,804. The Nasdaq took a 258-point dive to 22,627, and the S&P dropped 71 points to 6,837. Jason Brooks, CBS News.
FedEx is suing Customs and Border Protection in the U.S. Court of International Trade, demanding a full refund of the money it paid for tariffs that the Supreme Court ruled are unconstitutional. We get more from CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz.
The lawsuit appears to be the first from a major company since the ruling. In a statement to CBS News, FedEx said it filed the suit to, quote, protect the company's rights as an importer of record. In its ruling, the Supreme Court didn't address how refunds would be handled, although one justice acknowledged it could be a mess. The federal government collected more than $130 billion in tariffs from importers. Christopher Cruz, CBS News, Washington.
And the president has announced new tariffs that go into effect today. Here's CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
With new tariffs in place, the companies that paid the previous round of tariffs are now going to seek a refund to the money they paid to the U.S. government. The Supreme Court avoided that concept of how those companies that paid tariffs would get their money back.
There could be a light at the end of the tunnel for tech layoffs. KCBS Radio's Kathy Whitman reports on what could help this turnaround.
Every week we're hearing about layoffs at yet another tech company, but now there are signs this could be turning around. Former director of California's Employment Development Department, Michael Bernick.
We finally seem to have recalibrated after overhiring in the post-pandemic period.
Tech industry analyst Rob Enderle says new technologies could offer openings for people who learn new skills.
Quantum computing, robotics, AGI, any of those three things could do it. And we've got new battery technology that's coming forward as well.
Jobs are competitive, but companies are starting to hire. Kathy Whitman for CBS News, San Francisco.
Nearly 73,000 jobs in the Seattle area are considered highly vulnerable to artificial intelligence. This according to new research from the National Bureau of Economic Research and the Brookings Institution. Study looked at which jobs are most likely to be disrupted by AI and where workers would have the hardest time finding something comparable. In the Seattle Metro, about 3.1% of jobs fall into that category. According to the Puget Sound Business Journal, that's actually better than the national average of nearly 4%.
A new report finds businesses are offering smaller raises and bonuses, but fewer workers are looking to move on.
More employees are staying in their jobs, even though company budgets are shrinking.
We know companies are seeking to control labor costs, and it is shifting more to an employer's market.
Ruth Thomas of PayScale, which releases an annual compensation report, says while many businesses still want to reward their best employees, they're taking a different approach.
Peanut butter pay is one of two things. It's either where everybody gets the same level of increase in a given year, or it can mean taking a budget and spreading it very thinly.
But she says when the market changes, the best employees could move on, feeling underappreciated.
That's CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick.
Speaking of peanut butter, it needs to move over because there's another sugar-coated treat. CBS's Clarissa Lawson is counting the calories.
Krispy Kreme and Oreo are back with another sweet collaboration. Starting today, customers can stop by to grab the new Golden Oreo Donut and Chocolate Oreo Dream Donut. The fan favorite Oreo Cookies and Cream Donut is also back.
On Wall Street right now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 295 points after those big losses yesterday. S&P 500 is up fractionally. NASDAQ ahead by 14 points.
What do you think makes it a dream donut?
I don't know.
I was pondering.
And I was really hoping she would actually give us the calorie count on that.
No, she's just counting them. It's a secret.
She teases us.
KIRO 7 News, live starting at 4. It's news that puts you there so you can see for yourself. News that's happening now so you're ready. News that investigates to get you answers. News that's local because where you live matters. No more, no now on KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 p.m.
Okay, Chris, what's coming up?
Well, we've got a crash impacting 2 lanes of northbound 405 getting into Bellevue. We'll break it down next.
The opening bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by MyNorthwest.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. Save $1,700 when you Have Day and Night match your current furnace with a qualifying AC or heat pump.
Your furnace is lonely all by itself, but it doesn't have to be. With our Matchmaker Special, we'll match your furnace with a perfect air conditioner or heat pump to keep your furnace company and your home comfy all year round.
Match your furnace to a qualifying cooling system and save $1,700.
DayandNight.net. Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new. And First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier?
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense, and that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family is banking on bandwidth. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in no time with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025. Actual speeds vary. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to the premises by coaxial cable.
At 6:43, Chris Sullivan is watching the roads for us.
And we've got the HOV lane and left general purpose lane blocked of northbound 405 right as you get to the southeast 8th corridor there. So we are backing up now out of Factoria. We also have the normal stuff through the S-curves, and we're up to 40 minutes now from Renton into Bellevue. So plan on a couple of extra minutes lost on that corridor there. Behind that on the Valley Freeway, some spillover. You're going to need about 45 minutes to go from Puyallup to Renton. There's also a little hesitation in Auburn. Northbound 405, northbound I-5, from Federal Way to Seattle, under 45 minutes, which is really good. Definitely seeing the backup, though, on 509 northbound, approaching the 1st Avenue South Bridge. Still have the 2 right lanes blocked. Coming down from the north end, thank you, Glow, for letting me know we do have a crash on southbound 405, I-5 there, right as you get down towards the Ship Canal Bridge. It's on the exit lane, so not blocking, but definitely causing a little looky-loo slowdown there. One of the reasons why we're up to an hour and 5 from Everett to Seattle, a matching hour and 5 from Everett to Bellevue. Brake lights really heavy away from Lynwood. There's also some slowing approaching the Boeing Freeway and a little bit across the trestle, but stuff you can handle. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Pretty quiet weather-wise this week. We'll just see scattered showers, mainly in the south end for today, 46 the high, and then scattered showers for all of us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, highs around 50. So far the weekend looks beautiful. Saturday, partly sunny and 48. Right now, it is partly cloudy and 40 in Seattle.
Under 12 hours ago until the State of the Union address tonight, we'll hear from New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold with a preview. It's 6:45.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support.
Hear it live stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime.
Seattle's Morning News, wherever you are.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 24th of February. With Charlie Harger, I'm Manda Factor.
And every Tuesday, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold to talk about the big stories of the week. Good morning, David.
Morning.
Nice to have you with us, as always. So the president is going to give his State of the Union address today. He says it will be long. What are you expecting from the speech?
Well, I mean, a couple topics seem pretty obvious. It seems clear he's going to talk about Iran, where the U.S. is threatening them with some kind of attack, maybe a regime change. It seems clear that he'll talk about tariffs. He's been really unhappy since the Supreme Court invalidated his tariff strategy and his tariff powers that he'd been using last week. Beyond that, the big question for me is whether he talks about things that are actually on voters' minds, like affordability, and lays out a plan to make, to deal with the economic worries people have, or if this is more of a typical Trump speech that'll meander around, have some bragging, some attacks on people he doesn't like. His State of the Unions in his first term were a little more structured and followed the rules a little more than his typical speeches. But, I don't know if we'll see that again in his second term.
How do you expect him to handle the challenges facing his party in the upcoming congressional elections? Seems like this would be an opportunity for him to address that tonight.
It would. So far, his strategies have been three, I would say. One is to just do what Joe Biden did and insist that if people are feeling bad about the economy, they shouldn't. If things are fine with the economy, they're great. And if people are feeling bad about them, they're just wrong. That didn't work for Biden. It may not work for Trump either. The other things have been to try to screw with the midterms themselves, both through redistricting, pushing states to redistrict so Republicans can get more seats, and also just by raising questions about the way midterms are conducted, raising very false concerns about illegal immigrants voting or cheating in the elections, maybe with an eye to trying to disrupt the elections the way he tried to in 2020. We don't really know how far he'll go there, but of the three strategies I laid out, the one he's put the most effort into, I think, is actually the one about undermining trust in the midterms more generally.
David, since you mentioned Iran, it appears the U.S. is building a heavy military presence in the Middle East. Would you expect any sort of official announcement tonight?
My guess is it'll be more along the lines of, Iran better shape up, they better give up their nuclear program or else, more sort of threats rather than here's what we're going to do. It wouldn't make a lot of strategic sense to say, hey, we're going to bomb Iran in 3 days, look out. The question for me, though, is how does he justify this? If we go to war with Iran, it's completely a war of choice. There's no threat to America. The things that he's talking about as the threats are the nuclear program, which is now buried under tons of rubble under a mountain. There's nothing that means any threat to us right now, or even really a direct threat to Israel. It's just because he thinks Iran is weak, and if he's going to topple them, this is the right time. How does he make the case to people, if he tries to, that it's worth taking the risk of American lives, American money, American warships, just for a war that we've chosen to do?
Now, the president's advisor, Steve Witkoff, last week said the Iranians are, a week away from having a nuclear weapon. And I'm old enough to remember, David, when the president insisted we had completely destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities just a few months ago. What is the administration saying here?
That's right. When the U.S. bombed Iran a few months ago, Trump said we've destroyed their nuclear capabilities and, they're completely eliminated. And then they fired somebody because another part of the U.S. government put out a report saying, well, you damaged them but didn't eliminate them. Now, Trump's own administration is making that same argument they fired somebody for making just last year, which is that they could, they're 2 weeks away, they're a week away, they're a month away from producing a nuclear bomb. The reality is, They do have nuclear fuel. They probably could refine that into a bomb. The problem is that because of the bombing we did a few months ago, that nuclear fuel is way down under a mountain. So to say it's a week away is really unrealistic. They are months away if they chose to start excavating that stuff out of the mountain. But it's not like there's anything imminent, especially anything imminent for us.
Let's talk about the chaos in Mexico, David. Do we know what role the U.S. had in this operation to take out El Mencho?
What we have reported is that the U.S. played a role in gathering the intelligence and tracking this drug lord. Mexico has said that they basically used human intelligence. They had a man who was close to a woman who was seeing El Mencho, and because through that man, they figured out where she was going to be and thus where El Mencho was going to be and attacked him after this woman visited. But the U.S. has said that they provided intelligence and it helped the Mexicans determine where to go and when. I don't think anybody's claimed that there were actually American troops on the ground or American people pulling triggers when this guy was killed.
All right, David. Always a pleasure. Thank you. New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold.
And, of course, the State of the Union is at 6 this evening, and you will be able to catch it here on KIRO News Radio. Well, President Trump says he's ordering the release of government information on aliens and UFOs.
One of the most prominent sightings was a 2004 incident when 2 Navy pilots saw a so-called tic-tac-shaped object off the coast of Southern California. Retired Navy Commander David Fravor explained the situation to 60 Minutes. His co-pilot Alex Dietrich also saw the apparent UFO and spoke with Major Garrett.
We saw something that we couldn't identify in 2004, something that appeared to violate what we understood about physics and aerodynamics in that moment, and we reported it through our chain of command.
A long-awaited vote on the first major bill responding to last year's deadly Washington, D.C. air disaster is expected in the House of Representatives, the Rotor Act. Here's Senior Transportation Correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
It's called the Rotor Act. It was drafted by Senators Cruz and Cantwell, and basically it says all aircraft required to broadcast their locations using this thing called ADS-B out should receive those same signals in their cockpit via ADS-B in. It's a safety recommendation the NTSB has been pushing for years.
Bipartisan legislation, it passed unanimously through the Senate in December.
It's now 6:53. That's time for a check on traffic. We do that every 10 minutes on the threes, and boy, it picked up fast early.
Yeah, it did. And we've also had a couple of crashes. The one that's active right now, northbound 405, approaching Southeast 8th in Bellevue. The HOV lane is blocked at this point, and we're backed up coming up out of Coal Creek Parkway. Add that to the normal stuff, and we're over 45 minutes from Federal Pure Renton to Bellevue, which is about a 10-minute delay over what we had been getting. There also is a crash on make that eastbound 512 right before you get to the 167 corridor in Puyallup. It's right before the Puyallup River Bridge over on the right-hand side, just a little bit over the fog line, so just watch your speed through the area. It's one of the reasons why we're slow down South Hill. Federal Way to Seattle, under 45 minutes, which is really good, though we are seeing some heavy braking now on 509, approaching the 1st Avenue South Bridge. Hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue as we're close to 50 away from Lynwood, so off to the races there and a very heavy drive to start the day. A little bit of slowing over the Tiger Mountain summits, stuff you can handle pretty easily. A little slowing around the corner in Gorst between 16 and 3 as you work your way into Bremerton. Again, nothing that you can't handle. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. It's home show season. Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off. Plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Visit them at the home shows or at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Okay, the next few days looks like we'll have scattered showers and sun breaks. High today of 46, 50 on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Nick Allard tells us Saturday and Sunday we'll have partly sunny skies and highs in the upper 40s.
We'll take it. Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, some more of the day's top stories, and KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more on the state's budget.
Plus, News Nation's Leland Vittert weighs in on tonight's State of the Union and chaos in Mexico. That's coming up at 7:15.
Just a reminder, you can always contact the show by texting us on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. That's 888-973-5476.
And you can always send your news tips and story ideas to mynorthwest.com. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale our no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale new tax law knowledge. Exhale, missing out on your biggest refund. Certainly not. Don't miss paying $149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to A to Z Savings, our biggest sale of the year.
Happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with Duralast rotors.
Free. Really?
Really? Free.
I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah. How much is that?
Free with the oil.
Free. Really?
Really. Free. It's part of A to Z Savings with hundreds of deals.
From A to free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ends March 9th. Restrictions apply.
Let's go.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You know the one question that guys hate to have asked of them by their wives, Nick?
I can take a good guess.
I know you know 100 of them. This is the worst one. Do these jeans make my butt look big?
Whoa.
Can't answer that one, right? What I've noticed is whenever you ask me questions like that, I just simply say, oh, I don't know. What did the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic say?
Well, the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic would tell me that my butt looks great in those jeans now that my hormones are balanced.
What'd they do? Did they give you something to bring your weight down?
No, just a result of having my hormones balanced caused me to lose weight. Who would have known? I had no idea that would be a result of it.
So that's good. So the answer is you look great. You're beautiful.
I feel great. I look great.
Yeah.
And I know it.
I've also noticed that your testosterone makes you a little feistier than you normally are as my beautiful Greek wife.
I might be small, but I have a loud bark.
Yes, you do. Do what Nick and I have done. Take a free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Clogged gutters? Not anymore. K-Guard by Guardian keeps leaves out, water flowing, and your home protected year-round. No maintenance, no rust, just lasting peace of mind. Guardian Roofing, the original Make Your Roof Last company. Visit guardianroofing.com.
Have you ever wondered how to use your tax return to reduce future taxes? Madrona Financial's 1040 Treasure Hunt is a free hands-on workshop that shows you how to analyze your return and uncover tax savings opportunities. This free event is happening March 3rd at 6 p.m. at Madrona's Kirkland office. RSVP at 833-673-7373 or visit madronafinancial.com/events to reserve your spot today.
This is a paid advertisement. Investments involve risk. See full disclosures at madronafinancial.com.
We're the home of your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardis back to the Northwest.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A new plea from the Guthries.
We still believe in a miracle.
The Today Show's Savannah Guthrie posted a new video last hour offering a reward of up to $1 million from the family for their 84-year-old mother's recovery. As the search enters its 24th day, her tearful daughter acknowledges.
She may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy.
People in the Northeast are still digging out from a fierce winter snowstorm. Crews in Philadelphia clearing streets and sidewalks from more than a foot of snow. This man helped a neighbor in Norwich, Connecticut.
We're just doing a little cleanup stuff with the snowblower because we got a really large truck and some of these tight driveways are hard.
Hardest hit, Providence, Rhode Island, which got about 3 feet of snow. WPRI TV's Kristen Burnell is there.
The only sounds out here this morning are plows and shovels. 195 is clear, but many side streets are still buried this morning, making it nearly impossible to get around the capital city.
President Trump is prepping for his address to a joint session of Congress. Correspondent Nancy Cordes is at the White House.
About 35 million Americans watch the State of the Union every year. So this one speech might be President Trump's biggest chance to shape the Republican message ahead of this year's midterm elections, where control of the House is going to be up for grabs. So you're going to hear a lot tonight about the economy, about the stock market going up, gas prices going down.
A suspect's now been charged in the death of a young woman aboard a cruise ship. Correspondent Christopher Cruz has the details.
Court documents obtained by CBS News show a 16-year-old stepbrother of Anna Kepner has been charged with homicide. The 18-year-old Kepner was on a Caribbean cruise with her father, stepmother, and 3 step-siblings on the Carnival Horizon. Her body was found by a housekeeper under the bed in her room. A law enforcement source says investigators believe Kepner may have been strangled during a fight and that the suspect may have drunk alcohol.
Ford is recalling 413,000 SUVs because the steering may give out. WWJ's Jeff Gilbert.
There have been 2 crashes, but no injuries connected to the issue with 2017 through 19 Ford Explorers. Corrosion can cause the rear suspension toe link to fracture. Owners would notice a loud noise or unusual handling.
The Dow is up 401 points in early trading. This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at jtv.com.
At 7:03, Chris Sullivan is watching traffic on the 3s.
And we have a crash on the northbound 405 corridor that's really making things difficult getting up from Renton. It's right by Southeast 8th in the Bellevue area. HOV lane and the left general purpose lane are blocked now. We've got a fire truck up there kind of protecting the crash zone. So 2 lanes blocked and a backup that extends almost all the way back to Newcastle. So we've almost married that backup with the normal stuff coming up out of Renton. So 45 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, at least a 10-minute delay. There is some spillover onto the Valley Freeway, but overall that drive is 45 minutes, which is pretty decent. And my drivers are telling me that the crash on eastbound 512 right around the Puyallup River Bridge is entirely off to the shoulder now. So that's positive. Federal Way to Seattle, about 45 minutes as we see brake lights at the Kent Des Moines Road, a little bit at the north end. 509 northbound experiencing a little bit of slowing today up towards the First Avenue South Bridge. And we're definitely into a heavy pattern coming down out of the north end, 50 minutes out of Lynwood to get you down to Seattle or to Bellevue. This report brought to you by Bucky's Complete Auto Care. For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing, guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. At 7:04, a political showdown brewing this morning in Olympia on the proposed income tax for millionaires.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with a preview and more on the 2 budgets just proposed by Democrats.
Yeah, the showdown is going to begin with a protest and show of force from Republicans on the steps of the Capitol in about a half an hour from now. Republican State's Representative April Connors on their strategy.
Our goal over here in the House is that bill dies in the House this year, and we'll do everything that we can to stop it.
And then at 8 a.m., the proposed millionaire tax bill is set for public hearing in the House. We'll see what they say there. That proposed tax, though, is a huge piece of 2 supplemental budgets now being proposed by Democrats. Senators like Derek Sanders are proposing a budget that includes $2.5 billion in new spending.
Our state has always had a bit of sensitivity to sort of boom and bust cycles because of our revenue structure. The millionaires tax would be a significant step towards smoothing that out.
Yeah, that proposed budget would also dip into the state's rainy day fund, some $750 million to help balance that new spending. A budget proposal in the House includes dipping into more than $800 million in state reserves. In response, Republican Representative Travis Couture said in a statement that Democrats are addicted to spending. Democrat Senator Noel Frame fired back yesterday.
I also recall there were very little Republican votes supporting the bills that we had to pass last year to cut the budget. So that's probably worth going back and looking at. Or did they actually vote to cut the budget when they were given the opportunity?
Yep. Charlie and Amanda, it is getting chippy in Olympia this morning. We're going to see at 7:30 what Republicans say on those Capitol steps. And then, of course, the public hearing on the bill We'll get that sound for you as soon as we can this morning to see what they say.
Okay, appreciate it, Luke. Keep us updated. Progressive advocates say opposition to Washington's Millionaires tax is being inflated. The group, called Invest in Washington Now, claims bad actors are using thousands of bots to publicly comment online against the income tax. Brian Haywood with the conservative group Let's Go Washington tells Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM he's seen duplicate users on both sides.
People are signing in multiple times, and to me, that's a lot of people being really pissed off. Like, just to get them to sign in once, and some people are signing in more than once, it looks like, which is not illegal or fraudulent. That's how the system is set up.
Now, Invest in Washington Now is asking the state attorney general to investigate what it calls illegal tampering.
A bill that would allow a state commission to remove elected sheriffs continues to make its way through the legislature. Yesterday, people from across the state packed a hearing room to weigh in. Supporters say the public needs a way to counter a sheriff or chief that's not following the law. Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders tells KIRO 7 TV elections already do that.
Yielding the position to an unelected board of individuals that is primarily comprised of unelected people, actually, it's almost entirely comprised of unelected people, to me is undermining the democratic process.
Sheriff Sanders says he supports the other measures that create hiring standards.
Should Pierce County voters pick the sheriff or should someone else? Question could land on the November ballot. The county's Charter Review Commission just passed the first version of a proposal that would end elections for sheriff. Instead, the Pierce County executive would appoint the position and the county council would confirm. The News Tribune reports that the proposal would also require candidates to have at least 10 years of law enforcement experience. 5 of those years would need to be in a supervisory or command level role. The proposal still needs more public input and 2 more votes from the commission before it can go to voters.
Keeping you informed since 1974. This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, good morning. It's 7:08 on your Tuesday, the 24th of February already. He's Charlie Harger. I'm Manda Factor.
And, of course, we have Chris Sullivan watching traffic for us. Producer David Burbank is in the studio today. Jillian Raftery is keeping an eye on all the headlines out in the newsroom, and Nick Krasha running the board and picking the tunes.
Coming up this hour of the show, our weekly chat with Leland Vittert, host of On Balance on News Nation weeknights. What Leland expects from the State of the Union tonight and U.S. dealings with Mexico and Iran.
And we'll also be speaking with Jake Goldstein-Street from the Washington State Standard. With all these budget developments, he's going to get us up to date on what's happening in Olympia.
And how about the 735 commentary?
We're going to talk about the Millionaires tax, and, well, it's not really a millionaire's tax as much as it is an income tax.
It's 7:09. A 73-year-old man was found dead in Port Angeles. Now police are trying to figure out what happened. We get more from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The body of 73-year-old Danny Kendrick was found Saturday morning just before 7:30 in a rural area in the 6300 block of Deer Park Road. Deputies say he died of homicidal violence. Clallam County Chief Criminal Deputy Amy Bundy is hoping the public can help them solve the case.
Video footage showing any people or vehicles traveling in the area between 10:30 p.m. on Friday, February 20th, and 7 a.m. on Saturday, February 21st.
If you can help, call the Clallam County Sheriff's Office. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Lynwood is pulling the plug on his contract with an automated license plate reader company. City Council voted 7-0 yesterday to cancel its agreement with Flock Safety. Everett Herald reports Lynwood is one of the first cities in the state to do so. The move comes after community members raised privacy concerns late last year. A University of Washington report found some out-of-state agencies access Lynwood's license plate network, apparently for immigration enforcement. The Herald found the same kind of searches happening in other networks across Snohomish County.
Americans in Mexico are watching closely as flights are resuming out of resort cities. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin spoke to Americans sheltering in place there.
Leticia Gonzalez, a part-time Puerto Vallarta resident, watched the chaos unfold and stayed put.
They took over cars and buses and everything.
She says she saw the smoke and doesn't plan to go back out until she flies back to Seattle on Wednesday.
We were just afraid of going out because we didn't know what was going on.
A scare aboard a Seattle-bound flight from Wichita Sunday when a passenger's phone and power bank overheated and began smoking. This woman spoke with KAKE TV.
Somebody threw a towel on it, and I hit it with my shoe.
Crew contained the fire. The pilot returned to Wichita. One passenger suffered minor injuries. No one else was hurt.
In Kent, City Hall is expected to fully reopen this morning at 8 o'clock. The entire campus shut down for hours yesterday. Police haven't released a lot of details, but they say someone brought a military-grade explosive device there. It triggered a response from explosives experts who, we are told, safely removed it. The police lobby reopened, but the rest of the campus was closed for the day.
A 100-year-old redwood tree in Seattle's Madison Park neighborhood is expected to be cut down for a new development, but neighbors are fighting to save the tree. The tree is part of a pocket forest in a yard in a home near McGillivray Boulevard East and 39th Street East. Julie Takahashi-Scarrett lives across from the street.
These trees, they give so much back to us, not only for its innate beauty, but everything it does for our clean water, clean air.
The homeowner developing told KOMO News he plans to save all but one of the trees.
Just a heads up before our traffic and weather, the Department of Transportation has some lane closures planned southbound to I-5 today and tomorrow. 2 right lanes will shut down between the West Seattle Bridge and Michigan Street starting at 8 o'clock this morning. They'll reopen by 2:30 each afternoon. Crews are doing bridge maintenance work, repairing sections of steel and concrete.
At 7:12, it's time to get a check on the weather. KIRO 7 meteorologist Nick Allard is here. Nick, it kind of feels like this is an easy forecast for you this week, and people are going to like you.
I doubt it. They'll find a way, because here's the thing. I'm going to say, for example, it'll be mostly cloudy for most of the area with a couple of showers, mainly south, but that doesn't really include what's going to happen in Mount Vernon, which is you'll see more sunshine and some fog and some cool weather early on, and then Seattle, it's going to be totally dry, but then in Olympia, it's going to have at least a couple of showers. You get the idea?
Breathe,
yeah,
Nick,
no,
breathe.
It's tricky. These are actually, I'll be honest, these are actually some of the more trickier days because so many different things will happen. At one point in the show, we had a few sprinkles south of Olympia. We had fog in Arlington. We had mostly cloudy skies in between, and then we had completely clear conditions in Bellingham. So you really have to drill down a little bit more. So I almost prefer some days when you have a cold front coming in, at 11 it'll be raining, and you know what the wind will do. So it could be very much a microclimate-esque kind of morning without anything significant. And that's what we're seeing. You have that sunshine north of Everett with a little fog. You have some sprinkles between Olympia and Chehalis, and then you have just mostly cloudy skies for the rest of the area. We will see mainly dry weather today, except for those spots south and east of Tacoma, south and east of Olympia, and south and east of Seattle. You'll see some sunshine farther north and a mix of clouds and sun everywhere else with temps in the upper 40s. Tomorrow and Thursday then are a little breezy, and I think the mountain snow today is mainly focused over, say, like White Pass and Paradise, maybe a little for Snoqualmie. Tomorrow it's farther north. It's like Baker, especially, maybe a little Stevens, and that will hold that way for a couple days. Wednesday through Friday are all pretty similar, just a few showers. This weekend, though, that's when really goodness can be everywhere. It'll be sunny, or at least partly to mostly sunny, dry, and in the upper 40s and lower 50s. So that's the weekend everyone's going to love me. Hopefully. Probably not.
Of course they will.
Maybe they won't throw as many milkshakes at me. We'll see.
Right now in Seattle, it's cloudy and 40.
7:14. Goodness is not everywhere on the roads this morning. Let's check traffic, Sully.
No, it is not. We've got a pretty heavy Tuesday commute, which is not unusual, Tuesday being the heaviest day of our commuting week. We do have a crash to tell you about. It's getting into Bellevue on northbound 405. We have the HOV lane and left general purpose lane still blocked, and we're backed up down into Factoria and really coming up out of Renton. So the total drive, Renton to Bellevue, about 45 minutes. That's about 10 or 12 minutes slower than you might have expected. There is some spillover into the Valley Freeway where you're tying into 405, but the travel time under 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. We're also running about 45 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. I-5 northbound, not bad today until you get up to the West Seattle Bridge. There's also braking on northbound 509 as you approach the First Avenue South Bridge. Remember, we only have the 2 left lanes open as you get past that construction area where they're not too sure how bad the concrete and the steel bridge deck is doing there. So still no update on that. Coming down from the north end, hour and 10-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, 50 of those away from Lynwood, kind of the normal pattern for you. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
7:15 now. Every Tuesday, we call up the host of On Balance, broadcasts on News Nation throughout the country. 6 p.m. Seattle time. It's Leland Vittert.
Well, hello, Leland. Thanks for being with us this morning. State of the Union tonight. What do you anticipate hearing from the president?
Well, I think you're going to definitely hear about the economy. You're going to hear a president who is going to try and tell the American people, at least if he follows the script that his staff wants him to follow, that there's a lot he's done. Things have gotten a lot better than they were, And there is a lot more work to do, and he is the man to do it. The power of persuasion, 90 minutes of uninterrupted airtime, is something that only the president of the United States gets, and he only gets it once a year. That is something that the White House and Republicans who are running for re-election are keenly aware that the president needs to capitalize on.
Leland, you have mentioned on this show before that you really think the president, he needs to be better explaining the economy, not just telling people that it's doing well, but giving them concrete examples.
Well, it's more than concrete examples, Charlie, right? It's the idea that, number one, don't make the same mistake Joe Biden did, which was to tell everyone things were great when they didn't feel like they were great. Number two, to explain to them how what the president has done is going to affect their lives. And that's going to start happening. Tax refunds are going to come with no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security. That is something that the president and Republicans want to take credit for, and they will be able to. Number three, at least the Republicans I talk to very much want the president to acknowledge that there is still more to do, that there are a lot of Americans who are still hurting. And the American people are very receptive to people who feel their pain, who they believe care about people like them. That was Donald Trump's great gift and ability in the 2016 and the 2024 elections. And they need to see that again.
Lots of prominent Democrats are going to be sitting out tonight, including our Senator Patty Murray and Representative Pramila Jayapal. Not surprising, I guess, but thoughts?
Cowardly. For people who say they want to return to norms, what is more normal and more American than showing up for what is a constitutionally required State of the Union by the president? And yes, it's not required that he gives the speech and on and on and on, but it is bewildering to me, and I think it is very telling for Democrats that the performative nature of opposing Trump, fighting Trump, is becoming more important than anything. And in long term, it is not a winning strategy for Democrats. You can fight Trump as much as you want, but people are not at home interested in fighting Trump. They're interested in having better lives themselves. And I think that is the disconnect that you saw for Democrats in the 2024 election. And that was the opposite of what Joe Biden did in 2020.
This president has a keen ability to be able to change the conversation by saying surprising, even shocking things. And of course, he has this big platform tonight. Any outliers here? Anything you think might be something he could say that changes the conversation?
It's a great question. Republicans that I talk to, senior Republicans, are very worried about him sort of obsessing over the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court will be there, about President Trump sort of using this as an opportunity to air his grievances about the tariff decision that was delivered last week. They want him to stick to the script. They want him to be positive. They want him to use this as a reset to try and draw a comparison between Republicans who they say are doing things and Democrats who they say are just opposing Trump, especially now with the shutdown over Homeland Security and over DHS. The wild card, I think, really tonight is what Democrats do, right? Because I think you're in a situation where if Democrats protest or don't stand up when the men's hockey team that won gold is recognized, those are going to be moments that are going to sort of break through. And in this State of the Union, what you're looking for, what both sides are looking for, is moments that break through the noise and become repeated and shared, not just in political conversation, but in the cultural conversation. And there can only be a couple of those.
How much does the State of the Union matter, Leland?
Oh, boy. It is very in vogue to say it doesn't matter at all. That said, it is second highest rated as a TV event, only to the Super Bowl. And again, this is the power of persuasion. The greatest power of the President of the United States is to get up in a moment that looks as presidential as it can be, and stand and speak to the American people. It matters an awful lot. It matters an awful lot for a president who has an opportunity to reframe the midterm message. And if he's able to do that, it will be difficult for Democrats then to regain any kind of control over the messaging. This is a big night for President Trump. It's a big night for Republicans.
Leland, when you were a foreign correspondent, you covered plenty of conflicts in the Middle East, and it appears we're headed for a new one with Iran. What are you watching for from the president tonight as he talks about the situation there?
Yeah, my reporting has not gotten to whether or not President Trump is going to talk about Iran or how extensively he will talk about Iran. I don't know what the calculus from the White House is. I've been trying to figure that out. The question for President Trump is not can he go to war with Iran, not can he bomb Iran, not can he take out much of the Iranian regime and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard and the Ayatollah. It's how do you end it? How do you declare victory? And that's what the White House is really concerned about right now.
Let's talk about Mexico real quick before we let you go. Chaos there after the military operation to take out El Mencho. The U.S., we know how to roll in providing intelligence. So what do you think the U.S.'s role is going forward?
That's going to be a huge question, number one. And number two, whether this détente between the cartels and the Mexican government, this permissive environment where the cartels left the government alone and the government left the cartels alone, can continue. And perhaps this killing of El Mencho was the first sign of the government, the Mexican government, starting to reassert control. And then obviously the cartels retaliated as if to say, this is what we can do. Certainly it's no surprise that they began those attacks in the tourist districts, which is what scares the Mexican government the most. The United States government is going to have to decide if they want to start committing resources to taking on the cartels. And again, that is a dangerous slope. Tom Clancy wrote novels about that. Once you get involved in fighting the cartels, it is a lot harder to stop fighting them.
And we had David Fahrenthold from the New York Times on about 90 minutes ago, and he 100% ruled out that President Trump would bring up aliens, UFOs, UAPs during the State of the Union. Do you agree with David?
I don't know what David's reporting is on that. When it comes to Donald Trump, I have never gotten in trouble not making Sherman-esque statements. For those who have not had their third cup of coffee this morning, saying that anything is 100% when it comes to Donald Trump is a very dangerous game to play.
All right. Leland, thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Leland Vittert, host of On Balance on News Nation.
And he will have special coverage after the State of the Union on News Nation. Big show for them planned. Chris Sullivan is at the traffic desk.
Yes, I am. And we have a bumper-to-bumper drive from the Maple Valley Highway in Renton all the way up to I-90. The positive news, the crash that started all this at Southeast 8th and Bellevue is cleared. All the lanes have reopened. Travel time, though, still about 45 to 50 minutes from Renton to Bellevue, behind schedule by about 15 through that area. Definitely spill over onto the Valley Freeway, but it's manageable. I mean, you were running 50 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Federal Way to Seattle is running about 45 to 48 now. We do have heavy brake lights past the West Seattle Bridge. Northbound 509 backed up about 2 miles now, approaching the First Avenue South Bridge, where the two right lanes remain blocked. Coming down from the north end, we're looking at some braking in Marysville. Looks like we might have a crash northbound there as you're kind of by the lumber mill, working your way up. And then coming down, we've got a pretty good drive all the way until you're down to south of Shoreline. But it's still an hour and 10-minute trip from Everett to Seattle because you have that heavy braking all the way down across the Ship Canal Bridge. 405 bumper to bumper out of Lynwood down through 522. Same hour and 10-minute trip for you. The lake bridges are good. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, you might see some showers mainly in the south end for today. Otherwise, just a cloudy day, 46. Tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, showers and 50. And the weekend so far looks great. We'll see some sunshine, high of 48 Saturday. Right now in Seattle, partly cloudy and 40.
Coming up on Seattle's Morning News, Luke Ducey has a story of one Cle Elum resident stuck in Puerto Vallarta amidst the chaos there.
And you have a commentary.
And we will be talking about the Millionaires tax and how it's really an income tax. That's coming up at 7:35.
This is Seattle's
This hour
Morning
is
News.
brought to you by CM Heating.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Hey, this is Sully with a word about our good friends, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. For 50 years, Bucky's has been the one that locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, guaranteed repairs. Dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation, which means every Bucky's customer gets a detailed Carfax update, timely service reminders, a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, easy financing, Bucky's make auto care simple. Visit buckys.com today and drive with confidence.
I'm worried.
About what?
Water.
Oh?
Hot water, if you really want to know.
Water heater worries?
Worried it's wearing down.
Running out?
The hot doesn't last like it used to.
So you're...
worried.
I got a guaranteed fix.
Let me guess. A new water heater.
Right, but...
that's what worries me.
Well, worry no more.
Why?
What you need is an Apollo Plumbing water heater.
Because?
We include Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
Wrenchy's what?
Worry-free warranty.
Which means?
When it wears out, we replace it.
No extra charge.
As an A-List Club member, you're covered for life.
For life?
For as long as you're an A-List member. You get annual life-extending water heater flushes included.
So it lasts longer.
Right.
And when it needs replacement,
you're covered.
With no worries.
Because it's Wrenchy's
worry-free warranty.
What else would you expect from the Ready Right Now plumbers?
Apollo Plumbing.
Home of Wrenchy's worry-free warranty.
What about tankless ones?
Worry-free too.
Gotta love that Wrenchy.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Ever wonder how much energy it takes to power your life? Streaming shows, running appliances, even using AI to plan your next trip?
A lot, and it's growing fast.
So we need more energy, and it has to be clean and reliable.
Exactly. That's why Energy Northwest is exploring new ways to keep power flowing sustainably to meet the rising demand.
All this new technology is exciting, but we need the energy to keep up.
And Energy Northwest is making it happen.
Where do I learn more?
Energy-Northwest.com.
Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. What is something someone can do right now to protect themselves from being on the wrong side of the IRS?
It's really pretty simple, and that is do it right. File on time and pay on time. Yet things do get in the way, like we know. And if you have situations where you're feeling a little concerned about what's in your tax return, get some professional help. And there is a group or a class of people that just think they can put anything they want in their tax return. And they think they are being smarter than the government. It's kind of like the person, the narcissist that thinks they're smarter than everybody else and they're going to get away with it. They will maybe for a while, But the time will come. There will be a day of reckoning.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967. Or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
Albert Lee Appliance Clearance Center. Opening soon in Kent. On the corner of 212th and West Valley Highway.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from Eastlake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 7:31. Flights between Puerto Vallarta and SeaTac Airport are scheduled to resume today as the violence in Mexico seems to be subsiding.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is here with the latest and reaction from a local woman and her family who remains stuck at a resort.
Yeah, Shandy Boyle and her family are down in Puerto Vallarta right now. She described the violence there just a couple of days ago.
We were talking about going into town for the day, and the kids were taking their time, and so we went to the pool. And people started talking about flights getting canceled. And then all of a sudden we heard some explosions and word started spreading around the pool that we were shelter in place, basically, and the airport was shut down.
And around 80 people have been killed so far, including National Guard troops and suspected gang members, after Sunday's military raid that killed Mexico's most powerful drug cartel leader known as El Mencho. Cartel loyalists set cars and trucks and businesses on fire, not only in the state of Jalisco, where Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta are, but also in seven different states across the entire country. Boyle told the John Curley Show this.
From our hotel, we can see, and we woke up to smoke smell, but we didn't know what it was, obviously, at first. But there were several fires that you could see in Puerto Vallarta.
And like many tourists there, she is still on lockdown at her resort.
So nobody was allowed in or out. They're putting all the employees up and feeding them as well, because they couldn't go home last night. We're nervous. I would leave today if I knew we could get out.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do want to leave. You know, she's scheduled to leave on Wednesday. It looks like flights, again, are opening up right now. Charlie and Amanda, we also know that Mexican authorities got a tip from a confidant of one of El Mencho's romantic partners that he would be at his compound on Sunday. The U.S. then provided intelligence reports to help pinpoint the exact location in a town that is about 250 miles east of Puerto Vallarta.
Okay, thank you for the update, Luke. 7:33 now, time to check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
And we've got a pretty sizable backup to tell you about, both on southbound I-5 and northbound I-5 in the Marysville area. We have a crash in the northbound direction that is causing a pretty significant looky-loo slowdown in the opposite direction. But more importantly, the crash we have on northbound 5, it's right around the lumber mill, blocking the HOV lane and the left general purpose lane. Looks like a school bus is involved. We don't know the status of whether there are any kids on board, but it is involved. And so we have about a 3 or 4 minute delay in the northbound direction, but about a 10-minute delay in the southbound as you're hitting the brakes right at Marysville and going down past the scene. And again, that's a looky-loo slowdown. It's not blocking in the southbound direction at all. So that's the situation up north. As you come down away from Lynwood, it's a relatively normal day today. Hour and 15-minute trips from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, with 55 of those minutes away from Lynwood. Northbound 5 is really starting to see some heavy braking now past the West Seattle Bridge. I think a lot of people are just forgetting about 509 now, and we're up to about 55 minutes from Federal Way to Seattle. 509 itself is backed up about 2.5 miles up to the First Avenue South Bridge. Still over 45 minutes from Renton to Bellevue after an earlier crash in the Bellevue area. Behind that, though, the Valley Freeway is not too bad, under 50 minutes. Also seeing some brake lights on westbound 512 getting over to Steel Street between Parkland and Lakewood. Looks like we have a crash there as well. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube. Click subscribe and get fresh video content daily.
Our forecast, showers will stay in the south end today, 46-hour high, and then tomorrow and Thursday and Friday we'll all see scattered showers with highs around 50. Drying out for the weekend, though, some sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. Right now in Seattle, it's cloudy and 40.
Seattle's tradition for news and conversation. This is Seattle's Morning News with Charlie Harger and Manda Factor.
And it's time for the 7:35 commentary. Within the next couple of weeks, Olympia will most likely pass a bill most of you have never seen on a topic voters have rejected 10 times. using a procedural trick that makes it sure you can't reject it quickly. That's where we are this morning. They're calling it the Millionaires tax. And the branding's smart. Nobody's going to the mat for millionaires. You hear Millionaires tax and you think, well, I don't make $1 million. I never will. Pay up, you rich so-and-so. But let's be honest about what this actually is. This is not a millionaire's tax. This is an income tax on every person in Washington state. It just so happens that the first $1 million of your income is deductible for now. The $1 million threshold is written into statute, not the state constitution. A future legislature can lower it with a simple majority vote. No ballot measure, no public debate, just a majority vote by lawmakers. New budget shortfall in the years ahead? Well, maybe that deduction drops to $500,000, then $250,000. And keep in mind, for married couples, this is combined income. Two working spouses with decent careers suddenly find themselves a lot closer to that threshold than they imagined. And when it drops, it's presumably still combined income. Lawmakers were asked directly to put language in the bill preventing that from happening. They refused. Look at the recent track record. 2 years ago, Initiative 2111, banning state and local income taxes, got enough signatures to go before the legislature. Lawmakers approved it themselves, which at the time felt like a gesture of respect toward voters. It wasn't. They are now overturning that ban to push the income tax through. Senate Majority Leader Jamie Peterson, one of the architects of the income tax bill, actually called Initiative 2111 a pie crust promise made to be broken. He said that out loud about a measure his own chamber approved. Voters thought they had settled this. Peterson just told you what he thought of that. And they added an anti-referendum clause to this bill. That means if it passes, you cannot gather signatures to send it to a referendum. The normal path is blocked. To fight it, opponents would need to run a full initiative campaign, get twice as many signatures. It's a much heavier lift, all while the tax is already being collected. Yes, a future initiative could eventually overturn it, but that takes time, money, and organization. Lawmakers know that. They're counting on it. I want to be fair here. Washington's tax structure genuinely does hit lower income families harder than almost any other state. That's a real problem worth solving. I am not dismissing it. But here's what this bill does not do. It doesn't get our spending under control. The state budget has more than doubled in a decade, not because of inflation, not because of population growth, because we keep adding programs and none of them ever seem to go away. We passed a $9 billion tax increase last year, and we're already back in a hole. The appetite for more spending does not stop. It never stops. This bill feeds that appetite. The new tax would raise billions of dollars a year, with an income threshold almost certain to move lower and lower whenever the majority decides the need is great enough. And around here, the need is always great enough. Washington voters have said no to this 10 times. Lawmakers decided that for the 11th, they just wouldn't ask. And that's the 735 commentary for Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. You can always text your thoughts to the Muckleshoot Casino and Resort text line at 888-973-5476. And you can always leave a comment on this story at mynorthwest.com.
739, Sully, where's your traffic hotspot right now?
Well, we have a 3.5-mile backup on southbound I-5 out of Marysville for a crash that's in the northbound direction. We'll break it down for you next.
KIRO Newsradio, where you turn for the news you depend on.
Two competing budget proposals.
Senators want to be aggressive, they say.
Traffic.
We have a stall on westbound 16.
Conversation.
If they pass this thing and Governor Ferguson signs it into law, I think there's going to be a mass political sea change in Washington State.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They're bringing it home again.
Broadcasting live from the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel. KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Your tax return is one of the most important financial documents you produce each year. Have you ever looked at it and wondered what else can you do to minimize your taxes? John Curley here to tell you about Madrona Financial's 1040 Treasure Hunt Workshop, a hands-on tax planning workshop that helps you use your 1040 tax return to uncover tax reduction strategies, avoid future tax surprises, and plan ahead with confidence. The 1040 Treasure Hunt Workshop is at 6 p.m. on March 3rd at Madrona Financial's Kirkland office. This free hands-on event will expose ways to pay less in taxes and plan for the future. If you want fewer surprises and more control, this workshop is the place to start. Tuesday, March 3rd at 6 p.m. RSVP by calling 833-673-7373. That's 833-673-7373. Or visit madronafinancial.com/events to grab your seat today.
This is a paid advertisement. Investments involve risk. See full disclosures at madronafinancial.com.
Thanks for calling CM Heating.
Aren't you the company that gives away free furnaces?
That's us. Buy a qualifying high-efficiency cooling system and the furnace is free.
Wow.
Yeah, and our home comfort advisors are tax credit and rebate specialists, so they'll handle the rebate for you.
Go to CM Heating for better comfort, lower bills, and a free furnace you'll love for years. Get your free estimate for furnace replacement at cmheating.com. And remember, for furnaces, fireplaces, hot water, and total home comfort, including electrical,
There's no beating CM Heating.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Every business starts with an idea. With smart business buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at AmazonBusiness.com.
7:43, we check traffic on the threes with Chris Sullivan.
All right, we've got a crash involving multiple cars and a school bus on northbound I-5 between Everett and Marysville. In the northbound direction, we have the HOV lane and the left general purpose lane blocked, and we've got about a 10-minute delay into the area. Now, because there's so much action going on, in the southbound direction, the primary commuting route, we've got about a 4-mile backup now and about a 15 to 20-minute delay. If you're coming down from the Arlington area, you're going to need about 35 to 40 minutes to get you down into Everett. Everett to Marysville is running right around 20. So that's our one active crash on the board. Once you get through that, we've got a pretty heavy day the rest of the way. Hour drives away from Lynwood with an hour and 20 all the way from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue. Northbound 5, heavier than you might expect from the beginnings of Boeing Field all the way up into downtown. You have about an hour drive as well from Federal Way to Seattle. Northbound 509, still a bumper-to-bumper ride as you make your way up towards the First Avenue South Bridge. Plan on at least a 15-minute delay there. Renton to Bellevue, back under 45 minutes, which is positive. The Puyallup to Renton Drive running right around 50, and I'm still not sure which lane it's in, but we do have a sizable backup from Waller Road westbound on 512 all the way over towards Steel Street for a crash. Again, not sure which lane, but we're definitely seeing the brake lights there. This report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. It's home show season. Lake Washington Windows and Doors is giving you 20% off. Plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Visit them at the home shows or at lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Just mostly cloudy for most of us. Unless you're in the south end, you might see some showers today. 46 the high. Overnight low in the mid-30s tomorrow and then on Thursday and Friday as well. Scattered showers, otherwise mostly cloudy and around 50 all 3 days. Saturday and Sunday look great. Partly sunny on Saturday and 48. Right now it's 40 in Seattle.
And we have Sully. You have a choke point. Is there a reason for all your muttering yesterday?
Yes. I'm really not happy. No, I take that back. Okay, I'm not happy. But we're going to take a look at the transportation supplemental budgets that dropped yesterday and what it might mean for you.
At Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation,
We know that keeping your home watertight and dry is essential to your family's safety and comfort. Having well-functioning gutters prevents water damage to your home and prolongs the life of your roof. Whether you need a cleaning or a complete gutter install, we do it all. Call today and get $250 off a gutter installation and visit us at guardianroofing.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Do you ever lose your balance or feel dizzy for no apparent reason? Do you hear ringing in your ears or have migraines? These are all signs you could have a problem with your inner ear or vestibular system. To learn more, call the Vestibular Disorders Helpline at 800-837-8428. That's 800-837-8428. Sponsored by the Vestibular Disorders Association.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Now, Choke Points with Chris Solomon.
Presented by Carter Subaru.
747 now. The supplemental transportation budgets have dropped with fewer than 3 weeks left in the legislative session.
They are far smaller than what Governor Ferguson proposed, and we get the details from Sully.
And Governor Ferguson wants to add up to $3 billion to the transportation budget passed last year, which, if you forgot, was $16 billion. Both the House and the Senate are looking to add less of what the governor wants. Less than half of it, actually. The supplemental House budget would add only $1.25 billion. Only. The Senate plan would add about $1.5 billion. Now, all three budgets focus on something very important, and it's about time: maintenance and preservation. And you look around the state, and it's really no wonder why. The Fairfax Bridge had to be closed last year after decades of underfunding for maintenance. The First Avenue South Bridge is closed now, 2 lanes, because of potential corrosion to the steel bridge deck. Senate Transportation Committee Chair Marco Lias.
We are focused both on preservation maintenance of our state highways and our state bridges. We are also focused on preservation and maintenance of our state ferries. And then we're also focused on dealing with the unprecedented damage caused by the flood event last fall, both at the state and local level.
Now, to pay for most of this, the Senate transportation budget would be funded by issuing a new bonding authority, new types of bonds, using the gas tax revenue as collateral. That's something they don't do right now.
How do we pay for it? No new taxes this year, but we are leveraging the increases we passed last year with a bond proposal, $1.1 billion to unlock the preservation investments we would like to make across the next 6 years.
Leveraging the increases we made last year. That means using the bonds against the 6 cents we added last year to the gas tax. And, of course, the gas tax goes up according to inflation in July as well. Now, looking at some of the things that the budget would do, well, fully funding the Washington State Patrol, which Senator Curtis King likes.
I've been here 18 years, and the State Patrol has never been anywhere close to the level they need to be at. And we can see the results of that on our highway and the safety of our highways. And so I think this is something that we really have to put an emphasis on and make sure that we achieve that goal.
It also throws a lifeline to the communities around that closed Fairfax Bridge.
We do fund over 3 biennia the Fairfax Bridge, as long as with providing them some money for their routes, alternate routes, and for their emergency support.
The budget also fully funds the first 3 electric hybrid ferries and a plan to create a new mobile driver's license program.
So that in 2028, Washingtonians on their iPhone or on their other smartphone, Samsung, Google, could opt into a secure, encrypted mobile driver's license that they could use at the airport or other destinations that they're headed to.
While the House and Senate have similar budget proposals, the House does not pay for its increases by bonding against the new gas tax increase. It uses existing bonding authority. House Transportation Committee Chair Jake Fye does not like the idea of tying bonds to the gas tax. That's something he told me at the start of the session.
They'll have a high bar to convince me is we did fuel taxes. If we bond against them, then we reduced what we have available in future years.
The governor's supplemental transportation budget also relies on that new bonding authority. So now it's going to be down to the 2 houses to figure out what they're comfortable with, whether it's going to be bonding with existing or bonding with this new bonding authority tied to the gas tax.
I know we have all sorts of things that are shiny new objects that we spend and raise taxes on. Seems to me that making sure our roads don't kind of dissolve in front of us, that our bridges aren't collapsing, that should be a really high priority for the legislature.
Well, it always had been, but the last 30 years or so, the decisions that have been made in Olympia were to prioritize other things when it came to transportation. Multimodal comes to, bus service, bike service, pedestrian service, a lot of new infrastructure for that at the expense of keeping up with what we have. That's been a conscious decision. And I think now after we're seeing the closure of the Fairfax Bridge, we're seeing so many of our bridges in our state listed as structurally deficient that now they're turning their attention to this. Yeah, maybe 20 years too late. I mean, we've talked about this for 10 years. The state legislature underfunds maintenance and preservation by about $1 billion a year, and that's been happening for decades. And for some reason, it has just not been prioritized. Now, at least they're looking at it, but is it too little too late?
I wasn't in the newsroom as this was coming down yesterday, but what prompted the most muttering from you?
Well, again, the idea of using new bonding authority as a way to pay for it. Now, believe me, I'm happy they're not thinking of raising new taxes here, but creating a new bonding situation is something that I knew would make it difficult for this to happen, because I know the House and the Senate are opposed even within their own party. The leadership there of the House and the Senate transportation committees don't like, one likes bonding new, so does the governor. The House does not. So I knew this would create problems in being able to try to find the money to make this happen. It's setting up a conflict that they're going to have to figure out in 3 weeks. So
you're saying this may face challenges that are not surmountable this legislative session? I
wouldn't say that. I think it's hard to tell what they're going to do. And of course, there's nothing that can't say they can't reconcile this with a new raise of the gas tax. That's always seems to be the default. I'm not
Can
saying
you
they're
not say
going
that again,
there.
Please?
I know. I'm not saying that is going to happen. But when you have 2 leadership groups within the same party, not quite sure or in line of how they want to pay for this, that could be problematic in the horse trading that's going to be going on between those 2 houses in the next 3 weeks.
David, I'm again a little upset. Last time around, I used the word infrastructure. Manda and Sully, no praise, no compliments. I just said surmountable as well. Was there like, hey, Charlie, you sound more smarter today? There was nothing.
Also not a big word.
Yeah, not that big a deal, honestly. But keep patting yourself on the back.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to talk about bonding when all you're talking about is the Millionaires tax. That's really easy. That's a tax. Bonding is bonding. Come on.
I'm too blown away by Sully's intellect.
Right?
Again, business minor.
How's traffic, Sully?
Well, not great. For those of you coming down out of the Marysville area, we've got about a 4-mile backup getting into and through Marysville, southbound I-5, down to about the lumber mill. That's where you are stopped for a crash that isn't even in your direction. The crash is in the northbound direction, blocking the HOV lane and the left general purpose lane. And it's, there's a school bus involved here. There's a lot of activity around it. So I get the looky-loo slowdown, but it's not really necessary. Rest of the map, about an hour drive away from Lynwood, Lynwood to Seattle or Bellevue. We're back under an hour from Federal Way to Seattle, but not by much. 50 minutes plus to go from Puyallup to Renton. Renton to Bellevue is about 45. And it looks like the left lane is the one that's been blocked on westbound 512 trying to get over to I-5. Looks like it has cleared between Parkland and Lakewood. This report brought to you by the KIRO Newsradio App. Text app to 888-973. Download the KIRO Newsradio App. You can get your favorite shows, latest news, and updates right in your phone.
Showers today, occasionally, a high of 47. Right now in Seattle, it's 44 and cloudy.
The John Curley Show.
When people sit there and they see people with the American flag and they're utterly disgusted because they associate the flag and USA with Donald Trump, don't do that. You're doing yourself an amazing disservice.
Weekdays 3 to 7.
You could dislike Donald Trump, but you can still love America. It's like discounting Photograph from Nickelback, which is actually a pretty good song. Think of the fact that you love this country, and what you love about it is it's inclusive. Good. Include others.
Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
New year, new you. Have you thought about how your finances might change in 2026? Free checking from WaFd Bank is the way to go. With no minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about, you get spending tools and the latest technology to help you stay on your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank a best bank, you'll also get useful tools like voice-activated banking, so you can check your balances and make transfers between your accounts when your hands are full. Visit wafdbank.com to open your account. Non-sufficient funds charges may apply. Member FDIC.
Hey, you. Yes, you. Listening to me with your earbuds up on the roof? It's not worth it. Jake Skorheim here. Valentine Roofing is giving everyone 1 year of free roof maintenance when you purchase a new roof this month. That's professional care keeping you safely on the ground. And with flexible financing available and payments as low as $159 a month, Valentine sure makes it easy. So stay off your roof. Instead, call 206 Roofing and schedule your free estimate. Then reserve your spot on their spring schedule. Call 206 Roofing today.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
It's cold outside, and if you're noticing it's taking forever to heat your home, there are cold spots in certain rooms, your furnace turns off and on a lot, or it never stops, or maybe your energy bill is just way too high. These are all warning signs that your home needs a blanket. There may be something wrong with your insulation, which means not only are you uncomfortable in your own home, but you could be wasting hundreds or thousands of dollars a year in lost energy. Call Insulation Northwest today, and we'll send one of our professionals to give you a fast, free energy inspection to determine if there is a problem. And if there is a problem, we can fix it fast. Most jobs are completed in 1 day. You have nothing to lose. The inspection is free and only takes about an hour and could save you thousands. Keep the heat in, the cold out, and your energy bill low. Call Insulation Northwest today. Insulation Northwest, the real insulation company.
Please ask if you qualify for thousands of dollars of free rebates from your energy company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
Save $1,700 when you have Day and Night match your current furnace with a qualifying AC or heat pump.
Your furnace is lonely all by itself, but it doesn't have to be. With our Matchmaker Special, we'll match your furnace with a perfect air conditioner or heat pump to keep your furnace company and your home comfy all year round.
Match your furnace to a qualifying cooling system and save $1,700.
DayandNight.net.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
We're the home of your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. The latest developments in the Nancy Guthrie case include video posted this morning by her daughter Savannah with a new appeal for information leading to her return and a request for more prayers.
We feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing.
More on the video and an increased reward from CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti in Tucson.
When you listen to this video, you get the clear sense that she and her family are losing faith that Nancy Guthrie will be found alive. She said that they are coming to terms with the fact that she could be lost. It marks a transition from a potential search effort to a recovery mission. Savannah Guthrie saying that her family is now offering a $1 million reward for anyone with information leading to Nancy Guthrie. As all of this is unfolding, as it really now changes the shape of this investigation.
After record and near record amounts of snow from yesterday's bomb cyclone, there's more to come. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Detroit, by tonight, you'll get a little bit of snow. Pittsburgh as well through tomorrow morning. It's in the I-95 corridor. Newark, New York, up I-95 to about, could see maybe 1 or 2 inches out of this. So manageable stuff compared to what we've seen, but not helping the melting or digging out process, that's for sure. A winter that just won't end.
Tonight's State of the Union address may be President Trump's best chance to reach voters before the midterm elections. But what do they want to hear about? Here's CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
A lot of voters told us that they want to keep the focus on the economy, that there's still more work to do to bring prices down, for example. There was also some concern about kind of what we are going to do in terms of foreign policy and the broader implications of potential war.
Are some people predisposed to cigarette smoking? Well, CBS's Heather Bosch says could be.
Researchers at Regeneron Genetics Center sequenced the genomes of nearly 38,000 people. They found variations in a gene that's associated with the chemical receptor for nicotine in the brain. And
we found this has a substantial effect on the number of cigarettes a person can smoke per day.
Veera Rajagopal hopes the discovery leads to treatment and cancer prevention.
His credits include dozens of roles, but viewers may best remember Robert Carradine as nerd leader Louis Skolnick in Revenge of the Nerds, 1984.
Thank you, Betty and Miss Childs. Maybe if you're not busy sometime, we could have a cup of coffee or something.
His family says Robert Carradine has died by suicide after living with bipolar disorder for 2 decades. Robert Carradine was 71. Wall Street, the Dow is up 351, the NASDAQ up 194. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning.
This is a slam dunk.
So cute.
Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
Just a reminder, you can always call 988, the Suicide and Crisis text line, if you're ever in need of a helping and friendly voice. Just rough to hear about Robert Carradine. It's 8:03. Let's check in with Sully at the traffic desk.
And my eyes are keenly focused in and around the Everett to Marysville corridor. We have a crash in the northbound direction. The HOV lane is blocked right around the lumber mill there, and it involves a school bus. I'm not sure if there were any kids on board. It doesn't look like it, and it doesn't look to be too severe, but the HOV lane is blocked there, and we've got about a 25-minute trip from Everett to Marysville. That's a 15-minute delay. The problem is there's a huge looky-loo slowdown in the southbound direction that's almost 5 miles long. It's going to take you 35 minutes from Arlington to Everett. That is a 20-minute delay, all for a crash that's not in your direction. Then you get down to a pretty good drive until you get away from Lynwood. Still an hour from Lynwood to Bellevue or Lynwood to Seattle. Hour from Federal Way to Seattle with 35 of those minutes from South Center. I think a few more people have decided they don't want any part of 509 northbound now with the closures of the lanes on the First Avenue South Bridge, so they're sticking with I-5. Renton to Bellevue, about 40 minutes, and we're up over 50 now from Puyallup up to Renton. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Chris Sullivan.
8:04 on the Tuesday, February 24th, 2026 edition of Seattle's Morning News. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
A political showdown is brewing this morning in Olympia on the proposed income tax on millionaires.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is here with a preview and more on two budgets just proposed by Democrats.
Yeah, let's talk about what just wrapped up, a protest by Republicans on the proposed millionaires tax on the Capitol steps. Again, just wrapped up, and now House Republicans are saying it is their duty to make sure that proposed income tax dies in the House. Well, we'll see what happens, because just moments ago, literally like a minute ago, a public hearing just got underway with the House Finance Committee, and I captured at least the opening remarks on the bill that they're going to discuss. Again, the income tax bill for millionaires.
Good morning. Welcome to House Finance. Today is Tuesday, February 24th, and we're going to have a public hearing. It's going to be on Senate Bill 6346. Let's start with the staff briefing from Tracy Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Tracy Taylor, staff to the committee. And gross substitute Senate Bill 6346 relates to taxes on persons with income with over $1 million.
If anything, it gives you a little insight of how those committee meetings start, and it's going on right now. We'll have more on that, of course, throughout the morning and the afternoon. Now, the millionaires tax is a huge piece of two supplemental budgets now being proposed by Democrats. Democrat Senator June Robinson says their version uses the millionaire tax and borrowing another $750 million from the state's rainy day fund to balance $2.5 billion in new spending that's being proposed.
None of these decisions are easy, and using money from the rainy day fund is not something I take lightly, but had to balance a lot of other costs.
Meanwhile, the budget proposed in the House by Democrats there includes dipping into more than $800 million in state reserves. Well, just this morning, the Washington Roundtable, Association of Washington Business, Bellevue Chamber of Commerce, Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce, and Greater Spokane Incorporated issued a joint statement today in response to those proposed budgets, questioning both drafts. Here's just a little snippet. It says, in part, they would continue the trend we've seen over the last several years of spending more money than the state has coming in. So now business leaders and business organizations are weighing in. In response, Republican Representative Travis Couture said in a statement, Democrats are addicted to spending. Democrats, of course, are firing back. Harger and Manda, it's getting chippy in Olympia. We're going to have more on that House public hearing on the income tax for millionaires, again, throughout the morning and throughout the rest of today.
Okay, Luke, thank you. Progressive advocates claim thousands of bots are opposed to Washington's income tax.
The group, Invest in Washington Now, accuses unknown actors of widespread fraud, saying they're using the public comment system to inflate opposition to the bill. Brian Haywood with the conservative group Let's Go Washington spoke with Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM.
I think it's just them trying to deflect from the real issue, right? That this is deeply, deeply unpopular. And so the narrative has to be that it's all bots.
Invest in Washington Now is asking the state attorney general to investigate what it calls illegal tampering.
In Olympia, a hot topic packed a hearing room and inched closer to passage. This is a bill that would create a process to remove elected sheriffs. KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson has the story.
There's some passionate emotions on both sides, and they packed the hearing room in this building with people coming in from all over the state to testify on this. Now, the bill does three things: raises the age to 25 to become a sheriff, require you are in law enforcement for 5 years, and mandates a background check for candidates instead of just those elected. It also creates trainings for sheriff's office volunteers and youth cadets and standards for that. Now, the third piece is the controversial piece, saying if a sheriff or police chief does not enforce state, local, or federal laws around masks and gun control were mentioned today, they can be decertified by the State Criminal Justice Training Commission and thus removed from office.
Pierce County voters could decide this November whether to stop electing the sheriff. A proposal to appoint the position instead has cleared its first hurdle with the county's Charter Review Commission. The News Tribune reports the change would give the Pierce County executive the power to appoint the sheriff, with the county council confirming the pick. The proposal also sets minimum qualifications. Candidates would need 10 years in law enforcement with at least 5 in a supervisory or command role. They'd also have to maintain their state peace officer certification. The proposal still has a long way to go. More public meetings and 2 votes by the commission are still ahead.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO Newsradio.
You're always welcome to come around here.
Of course. It's Seattle's Morning News for Tuesday, February 24th.
Thank you for being here. And we have Sully in the studio with us. We also have producer David Burbank here. And you can always pick Tom Petty whenever you like, Nick Cretia.
Okay, yeah. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you for that. We are going to be talking a lot more about the state budget this morning, not only with Luke Ducey, but Jake Goldstein-Street from the Washington State Standard will join us at 8:15 to kind of break down what is going on in this process as it's really getting underway.
Also coming up, G. Scott will stop by. The NFL Combine is this week. What should Seahawks fans be on the lookout for? We'll ask G.
It's 8:10 now on Seattle's Morning News. Lynwood pulling the plug on its contract with an automated license plate reader company. Here's KIRO Newsradio's Jillian Raftery.
The City Council voted 7-0 Monday to cancel its agreement with Flock Safety. The Everett Herald reports Lynwood is one of the first cities in the state to do so. The move comes after community members raised privacy concerns late last year. A University of Washington report found out-of-state agencies accessed Lynwood's license plate network, apparently for immigration enforcement. The Herald found the same kind of searches happening in other networks across Snohomish County. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Tourists are still sheltering in place as they wait for flights out of Mexican resort cities. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin was able to get in touch with families from Washington who were there.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's another fire beyond it.
The plumes of smoke came after a Mexican cartel leader was killed, triggering retaliation. Burned cars, buses, and gas stations blocked roads across the city.
It was a shutdown of traffic, commerce, and people moving.
A massive shelter-in-place order kept tourists and residents alike locked down.
We were just ready to go at a moment's notice, basically, at this point.
Well, the text line blew up in the 5 a.m. hour for us this morning. It's because there was a small earthquake that rumbled about 6 miles southeast of Snohomish, registered a 3.0 magnitude, exactly 5:42 a.m. That is what the sensors caught at the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network.
It's the return of Zoo Tunes with indie rock and even some country.
There's still so many lonely kids surrounded by the rest of y'all, and I ain't seen.
That is Jason Isbell. He'll perform at Woodland Park August 13th. The series starts June 4th. The zoo has now put on 42 seasons of shows, and proceeds benefit their animal care programs.
Quick heads up, if you're driving southbound I-5 through Seattle today or tomorrow, 2 right lanes will be closed between the West Seattle Bridge and Michigan Street for bridge maintenance. Closures, they were supposed to start about 12 minutes ago, last until 2:30 in the afternoon both days. Crews will be removing and repairing sections of steel and concrete.
Sully will have current traffic in a moment, but let's get a check on the weather first. For that, here's KIRO 7 TV's Nick Allard.
Well, early on, we have a mix where you have some sunshine farther north, and because of that, we've seen some fog. If you are around Tacoma south, Olympia south and east, we have some pockets of showers, and then in between, just a lot of cloud cover. It's going to hold just like this throughout the day. You'll see more sun farther north, more clouds farther south, and I think you could even see a couple of sprinkles in the foothills of King, Pierce, and Thurston counties. Highs will be in the upper 40s. And then tomorrow through Friday, a little breezy for the first couple days. We'll see some showers. I think the mountain snow today is focused around White and, say, Paradise. I think tomorrow it's more like Baker. And then Stevens and Snoqualmie get a little bit in between. But better chance for snow at Stevens tomorrow through Friday, and a better chance for Snoqualmie today. Into the weekend, we're back into some sunshine. Looks great. And highs in the upper 40s and lower 50s.
Right now, it's cloudy and 40 in Seattle.
8:13 now. Chris Sullivan has traffic on the 3s.
Well, a lot of fog is now just showing up over the accident scene that we're dealing with up in the Marysville area. But it looks like they've closed off another lane on northbound I-5. This is right there by the lumber mill, getting up between Everett and Marysville. This crash involves a school bus, but there's debris in the roadway, but 3 lanes are blocked. Northbound I-5, and we have about a 3-mile backup that starts right at Highway 2 going past the scene. We're up to 35 minutes now from Everett into Marysville. That is a 30-minute delay. A 25-minute delay, my bad. Going the other direction, there's a 5-mile backup because of the fog and a looky-loo slowdown. It's over 40 minutes from Arlington into Everett, which is a 20-minute delay through that corridor. Then you have a pretty decent drive until you get down to Lynwood. We have hour drives from Lynwood to Seattle or Bellevue today. Northbound 509 continues to struggle up to the 1st Avenue South Bridge, where the 2 right lanes are blocked for that emergency work there. Looks like a lot of people have gone to I-5 today. We're still rolling at about 35 minutes from South Center and an hour from Federal Way. Renton to Bellevue, about 35 minutes. Valley Freeway, a little over 50. The Lake Bridges, though, are okay, though westbound 90 starting to get into the act. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show. Seattle's morning news on KIRO News Radio.
Great to have you with us. 8:14 now. It's been a busy 24 hours down in Olympia. Both the State House and Senate have released their supplemental budgets for the year.
A lot of numbers to consider here, so let's check in with Jake Goldstein Street at the Washington State Standard.
All right, Jake, let's get right to it. We have billions in new spending proposed. Where's that spending going, and what kind of justification are we getting from lawmakers?
Sure, and thanks for having me. This is just to set the table a bit. This is what we call a supplemental budget that we're seeing, and this is for the state's operations, the biggest pot of state spending after last year's $77.8 or $9 billion 2-year budget. This is for the remainder of that coming back this year. And we're seeing, both plans coming in the House and Senate, both above $79 billion. And so we're talking about a big pot of that spending is to respond to the federal changes in H.R. 1, also known as the Big Beautiful Bill. Part of that is for IT infrastructure to enforce the new work requirements on Medicaid. There's also trying to kind of fill the gap for cuts to programs for non-citizens. And then there's a lot of cuts in here to try to balance that out with, you see, the biggest cut is to the Working Connections child care program, subsidies for low-income families that are working so they can get child care. But the cuts to that program are more on the provider side, changing how they get reimbursed to save hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 4 years. Some variation of that is in both the House and Senate plan. And then the biggest pot of the new spending, to go back to that, is to fill and make a down payment on self-insurance liability, this issue that the state has had skyrocketing payouts in lawsuits for alleged government misconduct, lots of these cases involving the child welfare system, things where the government has done wrong and now has to pay for it. Some of these cases going back even decades. Last year, the state spent over $500 million or around that number on this, and that's, continuing to grow as more and more of these cases come through and the state has more and more liability. And so there's $1 billion to go to that account to sort of try to cover those costs. Lawmakers are also considering some legal tweaks to the process to try to get out ahead of this, reduce some of those payouts, reduce attorneys' fees that can balloon in those cases as they go on for years. And so those are a few of the things lawmakers are considering. And then I think the one thing that might stick out to listeners is that this is a 2-year budget, but they plan out for 4 years. And if you look into the next fiscal year beyond this one, they're still planning on a deficit coming back when they get back to session next January of over $900 million in both the House and Senate. And so that'll be something, this will be a continued conversation around, how do we fill that shortfall, whether it'll be new taxes, the income tax that we've talked about on millionaires. That's something that's kind of looming over all of this, but won't really hit the state until 2029. And that kind of, depends on it still passing the House, which is planned for a vote on Friday. It's getting a hearing right now in a House committee, but also would need to go to the voters and the courts, presumably.
Jake, one of the proposals draws $750 million from the state's rainy day fund. What are the rules on how that money can be used?
Not necessarily. I mean, so the state is tapping the rainy day fund. You're right, or at least planning to. The governor proposed $880 million. That's what the House is proposing as well. The Senate is going $750 million. They had kind of tweaked that down, it sounds like, after a favorable revenue forecast looking forward that kind of gave some relief to budget writers. And so they'll be looking to use that money to kind of fill the gaps, avoid kind of more cuts to programs that people would really notice on the ground, to sort of stave that off, while still, in their mind, these budget writers, Democrats in the House and Senate, remaining to continue to have reserves in the $1 billion after this biennium, this 2-year budget cycle, and in the $2 to $3 billion range after in the next 4 years.
If we can zoom out just a little bit, I've heard critics say a lot of one-time gimmicks are being used in order to fund this budget. Is that what do you hear about that criticism from people you're speaking with in Olympia?
Sure, I think that's a criticism that lawmakers got last year, also transferring between the states' two budgets to try to make things work. I think that's something that lawmakers are continuing to need to have to do to try to make ends meet as they deal with this difficult budget shortfall. And it's kind of the argument they make for why the income tax is needed to put the state on more sustainable footing.
Talk more about that income tax. There is a hearing getting underway right now on that. So do we know anything? Are you keeping an eye on that?
Keeping an eye, I think it's kind of the same arguments that we've been hearing. It's basically a procedural step. Like I said, it'll be getting a vote at least planned in the State House on Friday. I imagine that'll be a lengthy debate. The Senate debate went on for hours just recently. So, and that's something that, is a huge priority for lawmakers. Is basically the talk of Olympia this session. And so, it's definitely obviously one to watch and something we're keeping a close eye on.
And of course, the public comment on the income tax, there's been some back and forth with, I think it's the Progressive Institute, saying that there were a lot of bots being used by people against the income tax when it came to registering for hearings. A lot of back and forth we're hearing. What do you know, and what are you hearing from your sources in the legislature?
Sure. I mean, those accusations have kind of been lobbed back and forth the past couple of weeks. Conservatives have kind of made a concerted effort to make the income tax, quote unquote, the most unpopular bill in the state's history by signing in as con to these committee hearings, not testifying, but just as a show of opposition, in the 60,000 to 100,000 range. But progressives held a call yesterday morning kind of accusing conservatives of padding the numbers, adding people to those lists signed in con who were clearly in support, talking about, school union leaders and other union leaders who have been vocally in support of the income tax and signing them in as if they were in opposition to kind of pad the numbers. And that's just an accusation. The groups that have been kind of pushing the sign-in effort to sign in con to the income tax have, obviously denied that.
Before that hearing started this morning, there was a gathering on the steps of the Capitol by the opposition. Do you know anything about that demonstration?
I wasn't there, but I can tell you that I would assume that what you're hearing is a lot of concern about that this income tax, right now it's, on income over $1 million and then would rise with inflation in future years. But there's obviously this deep concern that could there's nothing stopping future legislatures from lowering that number below $1 million and making this an income tax on everyone. I think that's the biggest concern, including from at least a smattering of moderate Democrats.
All right, Jake, we always like it when you make us a little smarter. Give us a state of play. We have about 3 weeks left in the legislative session. What are things to be watching for between now and, let's say, next week when we check in with you next?
Sure. And so, yeah, like you said, I mean, this is a short 60-day session. Things are really happening fast. Those budgets that we were talking about will probably pass out of their respective chambers Friday and Saturday, leaving, less than 2 weeks for negotiations between the two. That's one thing that we'll be watching. I think they're not that far off, and so it shouldn't be difficult. I don't think this will be a situation where we end up in a special session. And then, obviously, the income tax, how that develops. And then all of the conversations continued around different legislation dealing with immigration. We'll see that ban on police face coverings legislation come back soon in the House side. And so those are all things definitely to be watching as, the time crunch really starts to set in.
All right. Look forward to chatting again next week. Thank you, Jake. Jake Goldstein Street from the Washington State Standard.
8:23 now. It's time to get a check on traffic on the threes with Sully.
Well, my eyes on this crash at Marysville have pretty much gone away. The fog rolled in really quick. And so we still have make that 3 northbound lanes blocked at last check. The HOV lane, the left lane, and the center lane blocked for this crash. And northbound 5 as you get up to the lumber mill working towards Marysville. 35 minutes from Everett to Marysville. That is a 25-minute delay, This crash does involve a school bus, and we're still waiting for confirmation from the State Patrol exactly what we're dealing with there. Coming down in the opposite direction through the fog, we have about a 40-minute trip from Arlington to Everett, and that's just a looky-loo slowdown as you get through the area, so about a 20-minute delay for you guys. Then you have about an hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, so kind of a standard trip for you. Federal Way to Seattle's been rolling at about about an hour. It's back under that now, but not by much. Really heavy from the beginnings of Boeing Field all the way up into Seattle. I think a lot of people are avoiding 509. The backup there out of Burien is not as bad as it has been as you go up towards the First Avenue South Bridge, which continues to have those lane closures. Northbound 405, Renton to Bellevue, about 38 minutes, so not too bad. Valley Freeway is clearing out, so is most of South King and Pierce County as well. Just a couple of little hesitations on the I-5 corridor south of Tacoma. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
And our forecast, any showers today will be in the south end, high today of 46. For tomorrow and Thursday and Friday, scattered showers, nothing too threatening, a high of 50 all 3 days. And then Saturday and Sunday look great, partly sunny. Right now it's 40 in Seattle. And coming up on Seattle's Morning News, KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey on the chaos in Mexico. Also our conversation with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold. He has a preview of tonight's State of the Union address.
A word here for Boss Retirement Solutions. Maybe you're stuck in traffic right now. You see the brake lights in front of you. You got your coffee. You're listening to Sully talk about it. Another long day. Well, you do it anyway, day after day after day, because you plan ahead. You are saving because you want to retire the right way. My question for you is, how would you feel if when it's finally time to retire, 30, maybe 40% of what you have saved ends up going to taxes? Money that doesn't go to you, doesn't go to your family. Good news is it doesn't have to happen like that. If you've saved more than $300,000, there may be tax strategies available to you, similar to what higher net worth families have used for years. Boss Retirement Solutions here in Seattle is offering a free retirement tax savings analysis. No gimmicks, no obligation, just a clear look at how much of your retirement money you might be able to keep. Call Boss Retirement Solutions, 206-210-1350. That's 206-210-1350. Again, 206-210-1350.
For informational purposes only, actual results may vary. No statement contained herein shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice.
KIRO News Radio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO News Radio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than the tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at amazonbusiness.com.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99, plus 2 times points at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale our no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale new tax law knowledge. Exhale, missing out on your biggest refund? Certainly not. Don't miss paying $149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Give your attic an overhaul with new insulation from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. Stay cool all summer, slash utility bills, and boost your home's air quality. Call now and get $300 off attic ceiling and ventilation. Or visit us at guardianroofing.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning, it's 8:30. Flights between Puerto Vallarta and SeaTac are expected to resume today as the violence in western Mexico appears to be easing.
Luke Ducey joins us with the latest developments and reaction from a local woman who spoke with KIRO News Radio about how her and her family are still stranded at the resort.
Yeah, Charlie, Shandy Boyle and her family are in Puerto Vallarta right now. She described to the John Curley Show the violence that has been there the last couple of days and what she saw during lockdown at her resort.
From our hotel, we can see, and we woke up to smoke smell, but we didn't know what it was, obviously, at first, but there were several fires that you could see in Puerto Vallarta.
Around 80 people have been killed so far, including National Guard troops and suspected gang members in Mexico after Sunday's military raid that killed Mexico's most powerful drug cartel leader, known as El Mencho. Cartel loyalists set cars and trucks and businesses on fire there in Puerto Vallarta, but also in some 7 different states up and down and across the country of Mexico. Boyle also described what's happening at her resort.
So nobody was allowed in or out. They're putting all the employees up and feeding them as well, because they couldn't go home last night. We're nervous. I would leave today if I knew we could get out.
Now, things do seem to be easing up. She is scheduled to leave on Wednesday. Flights are opening up. Charlie and Amanda, we also know that Mexican authorities got a tip from a confidant of one of El Mencho's romantic partners. And that's what led to have Mexican troops surround and invade his compound near a small town more than 200 miles away from Puerto Vallarta. That was on Sunday.
Okay. Thanks for the update, Luke. State House and Senate have both released their supplemental capital budget proposals. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi.
The House version is worth $910 million. The Senate's $723 million. Both proposals have bipartisan support. Republican Mike Steele is one of the writers on the House side.
I think there's still validity to listening to someone on the opposite side of an issue, even if you don't agree with them, and try to figure out how you find a solution, because ultimately that's why people send us here.
The capital budgets include money for things like school construction, seismic upgrades, affordable housing, and clean energy projects. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle is expanding its celebrations for the FIFA World Cup. The Seattle Local Organizing Committee announced a new Unity Loop of fan experiences opening June 11th. It stretches from Seattle Center to Waterfront Park, Pacific Place, and Victory Hall in Soto. All events will be free and open to the public. City and team leaders say it will bring the World Cup to neighborhoods across Seattle with family-friendly viewing areas and daily activities throughout the tournament.
Speaking of Unity Loops, let's check in with Sully. I have no idea what I even meant there, but it sounded good. Maybe, maybe not. You have traffic.
Yeah, I do.
You drive on a loop sometimes.
Yeah, I have. I haven't really been paying attention because I've been doing remote testimony on the Millionaires tax.
Sully, how's traffic?
Hey, I didn't say pro or con, but you
how's
can guess.
Traffic?
But you can guess. Looking at the drive. Remember, I'm a member of Unity Loop. Southbound, we are continuing to work with the crash in the Everett-Marysville area. This is northbound I-5, right there around the lumber mill. The HOV lane, the left lane, and the center lane are blocked. So only the far right lane is open, and we have a solid backup into the Everett area well before Highway 2. You're going to need about 40 minutes to go from Everett to Marysville. That's about a 30-minute delay. This crash does involve a school bus, but we don't know anything other than that. Still waiting on the state patrol. In the southbound direction through the fog, there was a very big looky-loo slowdown, 35 minutes from Arlington to Everett. Once you get through that, a pretty good drive southbound all the way on I-5 till you get to about 145th and Shoreline. Still about an hour from Lynwood to Seattle or an hour from Lynwood to Bellevue. Northbound I-5 getting a little bit better past the West Seattle Bridge. We're back under an hour from Federal Way to Seattle. Still losing about 15 minutes on northbound 509 up to the First Avenue South Bridge. The Renton to Bellevue Drive got about a 35-minute trip for you. The Puyallup to Renton Drive back under 45, which is great. However, we've added a new crash on eastbound 512 down the South Hill right before you get to the fairgrounds. It is in the left lane. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Just a mostly cloudy day. You might see a few showers in the south end, 46 the high. And then tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, scattered showers for all of us. Highs around 50. The weekend looks great. We'll see some sunshine in the upper 40s for Saturday, low 50s on Sunday. Right now, it is 40 in Seattle.
Reliable, refreshing, and ready every morning. Seattle's Morning News.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 24th of February. With Charlie Harger, I'm Manda Factor.
And every Tuesday, we call up New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold to talk about the big stories of the week. Good morning, David.
Morning.
Nice to have you with us, as always. So the president is going to give his State of the Union address today. He says it will be long. What are you expecting from the speech?
Well, I mean, a couple topics seem pretty obvious. It seems clear he's going to talk about Iran, where the U.S. is threatening them with some kind of attack, maybe a regime change. It seems clear they'll talk about tariffs. He's been really unhappy since the Supreme Court invalidated his tariff strategy and his tariff powers that he'd been using last week. Beyond that, the big question for me is whether he talks about things that are actually on voters' minds, like affordability, and lays out a plan to make, to deal with the economic worries people have, or if this is more of a typical Trump speech that'll meander around, have some bragging, some attacks on people he doesn't like. His State of the Unions in his first term were a little more structured and followed the rules a little more than his typical speeches. But, I don't know if we'll see that again in his second term.
How do you expect him to handle the challenges facing his party in the upcoming congressional elections? Seems like this would be an opportunity for him to address that tonight.
It would. So far, his strategies have been three, I would say. One is to just do what Joe Biden did and insist that if people are feeling bad about the economy, they shouldn't. If things are fine with the economy, they're great. And if people are feeling bad about them, they're just wrong. That didn't work for Biden. It may not work for Trump either. The other things have been to try to screw with the midterms themselves, both through redistricting, pushing states to redistrict so Republicans can get more seats, and also just by raising questions about the way midterms are conducted, raising very false concerns about illegal immigrants voting or cheating in the elections, maybe with an eye to trying to disrupt the elections the way he tried to in 2020. We don't really know how far he'll go there, but of the three strategies I laid out, the one he's put the most effort into, I think, is actually the one about undermining trust in the midterms more generally.
David, since you mentioned Iran, it appears the U.S. is building a heavy military presence in the Middle East. Would you expect any sort of official announcement tonight?
My guess is it'll be more along the lines of, Iran better shape up, they better give up their nuclear program or else, more sort of threats rather than here's what we're going to do. It wouldn't make a lot of strategic sense to say, hey, we're going to bomb Iran in 3 days, look out. The question for me, though, is how does he justify this? If we go to war with Iran, it's completely a war of choice. There's no threat to America. The things that he's talking about as the threats are the nuclear program, which is now buried under tons of rubble under a mountain. There's nothing that means any threat to us right now, or even really a direct threat to Israel. It's just because he thinks Iran is weak, and if he's going to topple them, this is the right time. How does he make the case to people, if he tries to, that it's worth taking the risk of American lives, American money, American warships, just for a war that we've chosen to do?
Now, the president's advisor, Steve Witkoff, last week said the Iranians are, a week away from having a nuclear weapon. And I'm old enough to remember, David, when the president insisted we had completely destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities just a few months ago. What is the administration saying here?
That's right. when the U.S. bombed Iran a few months ago, Trump said we've destroyed their nuclear capabilities and, they're completely eliminated. And then they fired somebody because another part of the U.S. government put out a report saying, well, you damaged them but didn't eliminate them. Now, Trump's own administration is making that same argument they fired somebody for making just last year, which is that they could, they're 2 weeks away, they're a week away, they're a month away from producing a nuclear bomb. The reality is, They do have nuclear fuel. They probably could refine that into a bomb. The problem is that because of the bombing we did a few months ago, that nuclear fuel is way down under a mountain. So to say it's a week away is really unrealistic. They are months away if they chose to start excavating that stuff out of the mountain. But it's not like there's anything imminent, especially anything imminent for us.
Let's talk about the chaos in Mexico, David. Do we know what role the U.S. had in this operation to take out El Mencho?
What we've reported is that the U.S. played a role in gathering the intelligence and tracking this drug lord. Mexico has said that they basically used human intelligence. They had a man who was close to a woman who was seeing El Mencho, and through that man, they figured out where she was going to be and thus where El Mencho was going to be and attacked him after this woman visited. But the U.S. has said that they provided intelligence and helped the Mexicans determine where to go and when. I don't think anybody's claimed that there were actually American troops on the ground or American people pulling triggers when this guy was killed.
All right, David, always a pleasure. Thank you. New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold.
Sully, what's coming up in traffic?
We continue to work on this crash in the northbound direction of I-5 getting up into Marysville. We'll break it down next.
KIRO Newsradio, the first place you turn for the news you trust.
Seattle's new mayor is laying out a big vision.
She offered few specifics.
Engaging conversation.
Has anybody noticed their electric bill? It's diabolical, Ursula.
And your Super Bowl champion Seahawks.
They are bringing the Lombardi back to the Northwest.
Streaming everywhere on the KIRO Newsradio app. Always here, always with you. KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
The stock market was on fire in 2025 due to AI and tech stocks. Now is the time to set a strategy for 2026. It's a good opportunity to lock in those gains and invest into a stable platform. With $8 trillion in cash sitting on the sidelines, investors are either scared or unsure where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rurecka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares the profits with our investors. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital. Invest into our Northwest Fund, which is currently delivering 9% on a fixed rate term. It's our flagship fund for 19 years with zero investor losses. And yes, we do accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit buckys.com.
I hope you have an opportunity to watch the show sometimes on YouTube TV because you're able to see Sully during the commercial breaks as we're getting ready for traffic. And his face is maybe 5 inches away from the computer monitor as he looks at traffic around the sound. Sully, take it away.
Well, I was getting some new pictures and some information from the Washington State Patrol on this crash up on northbound I-5 area that involved a school bus. And the State Patrol confirms this is a 2-car serious injury collision, but no kids on the school bus. So
Excellent.
I just got that information. Only the driver was on board, so that's very good news for that. However, there's two serious injuries involved in the rest of this. The school bus was definitely hit. It's one of the last cars still blocking, but what we have is three of the 4 lanes northbound I-5 blocked. Right there as you get towards the lumber mill on northbound I-5. Only the far right lane is open. We're backed up before Highway 2 in the Everett area, so it's about a 25-minute delay. No ETA on when they're going to open that as the investigation is underway. In the southbound direction, there's a pretty significant looky-loo slowdown, and you understand why. Lots of lights, plus the school bus, and so we're seeing about a 40-minute trip from Arlington into Everett. That's our real outlier right now. Coming down after that, we've got about an hour drive from Lynwood to Seattle or Bellevue. Northbound I-5 is still heavy past the West Seattle Bridge, heavier than most days. I think a lot of people are bailing from 509 northbound, so we have about a 55-minute trip Federal Way to Seattle. 509 itself is still pretty heavy, approaching the First Avenue South Bridge. Rented to Bellevue, about 35 minutes. Northbound I-5, looking really good there, kind of getting a little scatterbrained here. Puyallup to Renton, only 50 minutes, and the crash down the South Hill appears to have cleared on eastbound 512. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial, 97.3 HD2.
We're going to see a mostly cloudy day, some showers in the south, and a high of 46. And then we'll all see some scattered showers for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Highs around 50, but drying out for the weekend. We'll see some sunshine both Saturday and Sunday into the low 50s by Sunday. Right now it's 40 in Seattle.
Coming up, G. Scott prepares us for the Seahawks at the NFL Combine. What should the team be looking out for? He joins us on the way here on Seattle's Morning News.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
The Kendall President's Day sales event is on now at Kendall Ford of Marysville. With incredible low lease offers, it's time to step up to a new Ford. Lease a new 4-wheel drive 2025 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend at only $398 per month for 36 months with $1,000 cash or trade equity due at signing. Or get into a new 2025 Ford F-150 STX Crew Cab 4x4. Lease it for just $499 per month for 36 months with $5,700 cash or trade equity due at signing. Don't miss the savings during the Kendall President's Day sales event. On now at Kendall Ford of Marysville. Stop by today. Kendall. Let's start something great.
VIN number 3F SRF 13799 and 1F SFC 30527. $0 security deposit based on 10,500 miles per year. See lease posting at Kendall Ford of Marysville or call 833-935-0117 for complete lease details. All financing at approved credit prices listed do not include Texas title or license. A negotiable documentary service fee of up to $200 may be added to the sale price of the vehicle. Subject to prior sales, see dealer for details. Offer expires 2/28/26.
Your new home is now ready. D.R. Horton, America's builder, has new homes that are ready today. With new construction communities throughout the Puget Sound and Central Washington areas and more coming, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. At D.R. Horton, we're still building with more construction, more communities, and more homes available every day. Find your new home, now ready at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Seattle's Morning News. Hear it live, stream it online, watch the show, or catch the podcast anytime on mynorthwest.com.
Look who it is, Manda.
Who?
G. Scott from the G and Ursula show, who did not get excused. He did not get kicked out after yesterday's show. He wants you to know that.
You were supposed to take over my duty.
Well, I think that's really a Manda sort of thing. I only kick you out, G, when she texts me and tells you.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. By the way, Mariners.
That is really cool.
That is a great sweater.
Yeah.
I am so DB, you love that. I'm so excited about Mariner baseball.
Me too.
I mean,
I love a G that's excited for the Mariners. Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait. I'd be texting, like, so. Oh, I was like, man.
Here
can't
we
wait.
go.
What's
we
up?
have the Seahawks.
Yeah.
It's just won the Super Bowl, and already the NFL Combine's coming up.
Yeah.
What are you looking out for?
Well, it's one of those things where I think that we get the NFL Combine. The one thing that everybody looks forward to is the 40-yard dash and how much they can bench press, and seeing them in them tight clothes all over the place, the spandex and then sometimes you're like, good Lord, he got a big booty. You know what I mean? You look at those things. And then the best part is you go to social media and old Biff, the guy's like, oh, I can tell you right now, that guy runs a good 40 and he does the bench press. He's going to be really good. What? The Seahawks are going to do what they do. Now, here's the pressure. They only have 4 picks right now. As of right now, they only have 4 picks in the NFL draft. So when they're at the combine, they got to make sure they do their due diligence. But the one thing that I do know is John Schneider has a particular fit that he's looking for. So there's going to be people that's going to come out of the combine, and you guys are going to have me come on your show, and you're going to say, hey, G, who are the Seahawks looking at? And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to make up all this stuff as if, they're looking for this guy, and how about this guy from Ohio State and this guy from Georgia? I don't know anything. So the time that I get ready to tell you what they're going to be doing, I don't know anything. I'm just making stuff up. As a matter of fact, let me just tell you, everybody else that you hear, all of the air quotes experts, they're making it up too. They know as much as you know, listening right now. The fan, they know that much. The Seahawks keep everything close to the vest. Now, as they only have 4 picks and they're at the combine, I would say the biggest thing that they are looking for is they want to continue building in the trenches, the defensive line and the offensive line. Because when those 2 things are magic, it's like thinking about a house, right? When you build a house, do you build the kitchen first? No, you build the foundation, right? And that's what the Seahawks have to pay attention to.
Excellent.
Nick, I'm going to need you to pull 2 drops for me. First of all, G saying, I don't know anything. Second being, I just make stuff up. If you could do that, that would be great.
Those would be gems, yeah.
Okay. Wait, listen. Look, at least I'm honest.
Is the combine even relevant anymore?
For the fans.
Well, you just made it sound like no.
It's a lot of money. Like, do I think that when John Schneider and those guys are out there, they're out there in Indianapolis, the biggest thing the combine is for, and I'm sorry, is everybody's trying to figure out what kind of deal can I make for free agency? All of the agents, I got a couple buddies that are NFL agents. Guess where they are right now? At the NFL Combine, because all of the deals are made now. Agents are there trying to get trades, free agent signings, and all that stuff. All the deals happen during that time. Hey, you can give my guy some extension, give him some money. Matter of fact, today I'm doing the reset. And guess who's coming on the show? Guess who's coming on the show today? You know it. He's the best in the world. That's right. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, will come on the show. And here's what I got to ask him.
Okay.
I need to ask him because Drewski, the comedian, said that he reached out to him and tried to apologize, but JSN did not respond back.
Crickets.
I need to ask JSN a simple question. When you get to this level in life, you're a Super Bowl champion now. The city of Seattle loves you. You love the city of Seattle. You're in a great relationship. Do you, in a situation where someone mispronounces your name on purpose, do you respond to it or do you just keep it moving?
Keep it moving.
And I can't wait to ask him that because he has not responded to this at all.
Why would you?
Can I just say, I love, our division has 2 of the best wide receivers in the game. JSN, obviously the other receiver on the Rams.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I love that we have JSN. Not only is he the offensive player of the year, but Yeah, he
He's
always
so
takes the
level.
high road. He always knows what to say. Just seems like a great guy.
It reminds me.
Friends with our guy G.
Before I get kicked out, it reminds me of Manda being at a barbecue. And there's two good husbands there. And when Manda gets ready to leave, and Manda's like, yeah, but I got the best husband. You know what I'm saying? That's what JSN is having that. You know what I mean? That you have an awesome husband.
I do.
Got to meet him.
Super
So
lucky.
you see how I'm buttering up everybody? And even though I said those nice things, Manda, am I still getting kicked out?
Yes, you are. I'm sorry.
Damn.
Got bills to pay. Listen to G and Ursula coming up 9 to noon.
Sully, take it away with traffic.
We are continuing to work with this traffic alert. Northbound I-5 getting out of the Everett area up through Marysville. Northbound 5. Only the far right lane is open as you get past the lumber mill there. This was for a serious injury crash that involved a school bus. No children on board, so fortunate there, but we have a very sizable backup. It's going to take you 40 minutes to go from Everett to Marysville. That is a 30-minute delay. Arlington to Everett going the other direction is also running about 15 minutes behind schedule. A lot to look at. Still about an hour and 20 from Everett to Seattle or Everett to Bellevue. No surprises for you guys. Federal Way to Seattle's back down to 50 minutes. Renton to Bellevue's about 35. Back under 45 from Puyallup up to Renton. The Lake Bridges are okay. Some westbound slowing, but you can handle it. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Chris Sullivan.
Was it you who spiked G's Wheaties this morning?
Perhaps.
Kind of on fire, wasn't
I don't want to
it?
be accused of anything.
Mostly cloudy for today, 46-hour high, maybe a few showers in the south end. And Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, scattered showers, highs around 50. It's 40 right now.
The G and Ursula show is coming up where you'll hear from an NFL photographer stuck in Puerto Vallarta. That's next.
Thanks for being with us here on KIRO News Radio. You can send story ideas to mynorthwest.com.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by mynorthwest.com, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
At Skyline Seattle, senior living never sounded so good. We celebrate the arts and are building enviable cultural partnerships like the bout. We provide our residents all the energy Seattle offers. Make your home at Seattle's only true life care community. Culture has an address. Skyline. Discover it all at skylineseattle.org.
Have you thought about how your finances should change in 2026? Well, my friends at WaFd Bank can help, right, Brad?
Right, Dave. Set your financial goals and stick to them with free checking. No minimum balances or monthly maintenance fees to worry about. You also get spending tools to help you stay on top of your budget. Not only is WaFd Bank a best bank, we have more than 200 branches to serve you across 9 western states.
And tell me about this voice-activated banking I've been hearing about.
You can check your balance and make transfers between your WaFd accounts when your hands are full, which, let's face it, is probably most of the time. You'll also have access to free tools like person-to-person payments with Zelle, mobile check deposit, intuitive new debit card management tools to turn your card on and off, set spending notifications, and when those unfortunate times happen, submit fraud disputes right inside the WaFd mobile app.
And you can choose from those great-looking Seattle Kraken and Seattle Seawolves debit cards. So visit WaFdBank.com to open your account today. Non-sufficient funds.
Tech support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park.
Fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Discover a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Your VA loan and reverse mortgage experts for 34 years. Best Mortgage is proud to be the longest running mortgage company on KIRO Radio. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma's